Navy and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys?
Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we go. Welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll here on the program on a Tuesday. Very interesting Tuesday. Lots of stuff to talk about. Cameron Wolf will join us around 10:30, so we'll have a little fun with Cam. And Sean Stanley, of course, driving and mastering this program every single day, and we always appreciate it. Lordy. So last night, Heat lose to the Raptors, drop to 1-3. We got the Bears in New England. Mac Jones, what happened? Is his career over already? Well, they dropped him quickly, and then they got zapped. just remember this, okay? Today, when you see your Patriot friend, family member, coworker, just remind that Patriot fan that when you have 5 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Okay, just remind them of that. That's all, because they wanna have like a crap ton of quarterbacks there. So just say it. The Zappy stuff was just funny last night. So we've got that going on. The Panthers are back in action tonight. The Miami Dolphins enjoying the day off today, getting ready for the Detroit Lions. The road game, we will have our pre and post game show on Sunday for you, getting you ready for the Lions and the win, hopefully. Remember, Saturday, we are at Walk-Ons, and we'll have all kinds of prizes again and giveaways and taste testings. I believe the beer company will be there. I don't know. I want to say the name of the company because I was told the name of the company, but I want to make sure. But they're not one of our sponsors or anything like that. But they are sponsors of Walk-Ons, and so they're going to be there giving some free beer and also some free Edge energy drink and Perdomo prize packs, which is a lighter and a cutter and a hat, which is I don't know, it's like a $75 value or something like that. And also gift cards from Caneswear, which is a beautiful thing. So, we're having some fun over there on Saturdays. See, if things aren't going to be, that smooth at times when, you go to a Canes game or something like that, this one's on the road. But better to be at Walk-Ons. You're out of the elements. You're in a big, ginormous, beautiful bar. They got great food. They got great service. So come on out here, man. Join us at Walk-Ons, man, on Saturdays. So doors open at 11, by the way, just so you know. We will start our show at 10:30 because we always start all pre-games start 2 hours prior to whatever the kickoff is. Okay, because I always have people DMing me, tweeting me, IG, Facebook. Hey, when is it you're on again? And always 2 hours. Whatever the kickoff is, 2 hours prior to that. If it's an 8:20 kickoff, then at 6:20 we'll be on. If it's a 1 o'clock kickoff, we'll be on at 11. If it's a 12:30 kickoff like this week with the Canes, we're on at 10:30. As long as you're, half decent in math, you should be able to figure that out. But come on out there on Saturday. Still trying to get a home for the Dolphin broadcast, and we will. Something tells me it will happen. We will find a permanent home. I want to find one that we're there for several years so we can build up what we're going to do now with the University of Miami, hopefully there at Walk-Ons. Big O, I see 3 straight wins, but I know it's one game at a time. Fins up, says Lewis Jones. And let me get into because there's a couple of Dolphin topics that I wanted to touch on today. And I want to make sure that we're appreciative. Yeah. I want to make sure that the Dolphin Nation is appreciative of what's going on. Because let me explain to you what has happened in the first 7 weeks of the season, and let me recap what's gone on. First of all, you have a brand new head coach with a new offensive staff, putting in a new offensive scheme. Then you have your starting quarterback who starts off lights out, right? Because he's got training camp. It's his team. He's got preseason. It's his team. He had the whole offseason. It's his team. He was in a groove. Stella found her groove. And then he goes out for 3 games. Or 2.5 if you want to, it's the second half of the Bengals game and then the other 2. And so you lose those 3 games. And then we've also seen a crap ton of injuries. Byron Jones has not played. Don't know if he will ever play this season. You've got the Austin Jackson injury that happened right away. And then all the other injuries from Trill Williams to now it's Brandon Jones and Teron Armstead. And I don't need it. You guys know what I'm talking about. This week without Kader Kohu and Crossan, and you're playing with your 7th and 8th corners out there. Okay, so all of that is going on, right? So you've got this entire mess, and then you also are handed a brutal start, right? Everybody talked about those first 4 games. Oh my God, the Dolphins are going to be tested right away. 3-1, bitch. Would have been 4-0 if Tua finishes that game. So again, a ton of injuries, new coaches, new scheme, quarterback misses 3 games. One of the toughest starts in the NFL, and you go 3-1, and the NFL screws the Dolphins in the Tua and Teddy bogus bogus protocols. Because Tua probably could have played last week. Sunday could have been his 2nd game back, but these bogus protocols and the whole optics and all that bullshit. And then Teddy had no ataxia whatsoever. He prepared all week for the Jets, and then now you pull him. You've had every bad break possibly that could happen to you, and you're 4-3. You want me to repeat all of that? All of that shit went on, and you're 4-3. So stop with the panic. Stop pointing fingers. Stop overreacting. The whole concussion bullshit. We told you everybody was overreacting. Now everybody's on our side about him getting rid of the football. And sure enough, what happened on Sunday? He went into 2 collisions. Because that's the problem. It's not the concussion bullshit. All that comes from him holding the ball and making bad decisions. That's it. He made 2 more bad decisions this week. Again, he does not know how to stop himself. Right? And I'm going to do the same thing because I'm hearing people complain about the Dolphins. I'm hearing people point fingers at a whole bunch of crap and like act frustrated. Dude, act appreciative. Be grateful. Because very few teams would be 4-3 with everything that the Dolphins have suffered. I mean, it is a lot in 7 weeks, dude. It's a crap ton to overcome. Like, I have nothing but respect for Mike McDaniel and his staff for what they're overcoming right now. And they're 4-3, and we got a bunch of winnable games coming up. This team should win against Detroit. They should win a couple of the other games that are coming up. They should pat this schedule up. And the only reason there's 3 losses there is because of all the shit that I mentioned. I think if you're a Dolphins fan, you should be incredibly happy and you should feel pretty confident. Now, if this team can find a way to get healthy, the Brandon Jones one pisses me off because they can't replace him. You know what I mean? They've been able to kind of mask with the corners and get by and all that. And they're using 3rd-string corners now and 4th-string corners now at this point. So, but they've been able to kind of get away with that. Brandon Jones is a special talent that does all kinds of things that it's just he's a different kind of player, and it's going to be hard to replace him. It's going to be really hard to replace him. But wow, dude, I got to tell you, if you're a Dolphins fan, don't be pointing fingers, don't be frustrated, and don't say, oh, we're some guy goes to me, oh, well, we got to get better in the secondary. We need more. And I'm like, dude, they've lost everybody in their secondary. This secondary was super deep. Noah Igbinoghene is your 7th corner. Bethel's like your 8th corner. This is crazy what's going on with the Dolphins. I'm incredibly happy that they're 4-3 after everything that's gone on. You know what's the only thing I asked for is health. That's it. Tua will get back into rhythm. He was out of rhythm. Didn't I just explain it? He had the entire offseason training with his guys. Then he had training camp, and then he had preseason. It goes right into the regular season. Bro, you're in a groove. And then all of a sudden it stops for 24 days. And you don't play NFL game speed. That throws you off, man. So now he got a game back in his belt. You'll see he'll get back on track and even sharper this week, and then it'll continue because that's like anything. It's a matter of practice. It's a matter of being in a groove, and then you do your best. That's usually almost in anything in life. But if you do something and you take a break, you may not be as sharp when you come back. And that's what happened. Silly me thinking, no, he'll be fine. That was my fault, not his. He's just a human being. But I just want to tell all of you out there that, it's not as bad as you make it out to be. I think it's actually incredibly impressive what's gone on with the Dolphins. Really impressive what's gone on with the Dolphins. So appreciate it. Cap for Life says, my mouth almost dropped when I heard Big O say yesterday that we needed to start looking for another quarterback. Orlando's 100% right. I'm not going to pull my eggs in this guy's basket because he doesn't learn to slide. He's not a learn to slide guy. Yeah. I mean, I love Tua, and Tua can be the quarterback for a long, long time. But if I am Mike McDaniel and I am Chris Greer, I'm saying, yeah, we may have to start, looking for an insurance policy. We've got one in Skyler. Let's go find another one in this draft coming up, because just for the hell of it, unfortunately, Tua doesn't take care of himself. Tua can, as I've told you guys, I told you over the last 2 years, Tua's a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's an all-pro quarterback. He's a Super Bowl winning type quarterback. He's a stud. But he's going to stop himself from being that if he plays like that. Because you and I know his body cannot. That's most everybody can't take that punishment. You don't want to start getting hit. You're not going to last. Look, Lamar Jackson has started to miss games because eventually you're playing with fire. You can't live off the run as a quarterback. That will kill you eventually. It's only a matter of time for Lamar Jackson. If he never learns to play from the pocket alone, he's going to end up injured. That's the inevitable, just like Cam Newton. You cannot take on contact. And I love Tua, but yeah, I said it yesterday. I'm not getting off the Tua bandwagon. I believe 100% in the kid, but what I don't believe is he will last if he plays like that. No shot. No shot he lasts if he plays like that. He's already proven it. You cannot take that kind of punishment. It's not normal, but it is what it is. Michael Gauda says, I agree, Big O. McDaniel's doing a hell of a job. I mean, he's a rookie coach, bro. And they have overcome, and the front office has done a great job of, all these injuries. Offensive line, look, you find the Brandon Shell to help you out. It's crazy, man. McDaniel wants tight end run, limit Tua, pass less than 30. I don't know if it's listen, McDaniel would love to have more of a dominant running game. That would be a perfect, and we've told you this for months. Two things we've told you on the offensive and on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, you will never see Mike McDaniel's real offense until they can dominate and run the ball. until they become a running team, you will not see the real offense of Mike McDaniel. Right now, he's kind of playing a shell game and playing off the offense, but he can't really run the offense that he wants. Flip side, Josh Boyer will never be able to run his defense unless he has X and Byron Jones at 100%. That's just the truth. Unless you have the shutdown corners on the edges to be the shutdown corners, then you're not going to have the freedom to work with your linebackers and safeties. That's just the way it's going to be. And so that's the adjustment both coordinators have had to make this year. Neither one can run their scheme the proper way, and they've had to adjust. And that's been the challenge. And having said all that, this past week, Josh Boyer, with all those replacements, he still only gave up 10 points. You know, kudos, man. Like I said, 4-3 with all this stuff that's gone on. It's so impressive. I can't say enough about what the Dolphins are doing at 4-3 right now. It tells me that, dude, just a little luck. As Paul McCartney would say, with a little luck, we can, watch it take off. We can see the whole NFL exploding. Just with a little luck. With a little luck. That's all they need right now. That's what stopped the Dolphins now. It's not coaching. It's not the players. It's the injuries, man. The injuries have changed the face of the Miami Dolphins in the 2022 season, and they still have a winning record. And they have a chance to really pat that record now over the next couple of weeks and pick up some more wins. And if they get healthier, this is not the team. You do not want to face the Dolphins healthy in the playoffs. No. And the good teams that are looking around going, well, wait a minute, bro. This Dolphin team this year, this could be a dangerous team. Especially if they're right now, they're not dangerous. Right now, they're gritty. You know, they're blue collar. They're desperate right now. So they're going to do anything they can to win games. But if your Miami Dolphins get healthy, they all of a sudden become scary. They become threatening to the Bills. You know the team they beat already? You know the team that everybody said, oh, no, yeah, until they can beat the Bills, I won't believe it. Well, they beat the Bills. And they weren't healthy either. Bills or the Dolphins. So, just saying. This is all about luck. And right now the Dolphins have had zero luck. Okay? I'm hoping that the football gods say, okay, you had your bad luck, you had your valley, here comes your peak. And I hope the better of the football and the luck is coming on the second half of the season because, damn it, they deserve it. They deserve it in a big-time way. If you want to get in on the program, remember on the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. By the way, tomorrow we will be on from 3 to 6 p.m. Normally it's on Thursdays at Hialeah Park, but I'm going to Iron Maiden on Thursday in Tampa. Damn it, I'm not going to Greta tonight because they canceled. Freaking sucks, dude. Greta Van Fleet ended up canceling. And listen, it's not their fault. Joshua Joshua has a ruptured eardrum. And so it's hard for Joshua Kiska is the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet. And so he has a shattered, a ruptured eardrum. And so they were set to play at the Hard Rock tonight. And I already lost the Greta Van Fleet show in Estero because they have what's it called? They have the Estero Arena for a evacuation center for obviously the storm victims on the West Coast, which is, very understandable. And so now they have two more dates, Tampa and Hollywood. Now those have been postponed, not canceled. The Estero one was canceled. The other two are postponed. Now I wasn't going to be able to go to the Tampa show, but if they reschedule down the line both shows, I might be able now to attend both shows. So that'll make up for the Estero show that I missed out. This is the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet, Joshua Kiska, talking about his ruptured eardrum.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to make this video to speak directly to you. As you know, we made a post last week regarding ruptured eardrum. I've been experiencing this situation in my left ear, and that's caused plenty of infections, tinnitus, and difficulty hearing. And it's hard to hear myself. It's hard to hear the other guys and on the stage and in the room. When you take the stage, you really aim to give you an extraordinary performance and pull something deep from within us. And it's a whole meditative process. And just not really physically able to do that right now. And my doctors have done an amazing job taking care of me. And for that, I thank them. But what they can't do is help my body heal faster. Myself, the band, and our entire team thought that perhaps we're hoping that my ear would be ready to fly, so to speak, and to get on stage and to perform and do all those things, which unfortunately that's just not the case. And as a result, we're going to need to reschedule the Hollywood show and the Tampa show. And I realize it's probably really hard timing for a lot of you and really, really frustrating. And it's extraordinarily frustrating and disappointing for us to have to do that. Sometimes things like this will come about and you don't expect that you're going to have to make some kind of extreme decision. And that's the case here. And I have to say that I am extremely sorry to all of you for this situation, and it's been a difficult year for a lot of people, no doubt.
So there you go. That is Joshua Kiska, the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet. So if you had tickets for the Hollywood show, now you know. The poor guy has got a ruptured eardrum, and being a singer on stage, and you heard him, he's suffering from tinnitus, where you have that constant ringing, and so yeah, it sucks. But there's always a silver lining. At least I'm looking at it this way. Now you reschedule, and now hopefully you reschedule where I can actually see both shows. I got my tickets for Hollywood. Now I'll go buy my tickets for Tampa eventually when they reschedule it. If I can go, now I can see both shows and I can make up. You know what they should do? When they reschedule, if the Estero Arena is cleared up, they should reschedule that one too. That way, yeah, that's right. I'll go to all three. Yes, sir. I will go to all three. Devin Jordan, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, injuries are part of the game. It's all about having good depth at the 53. That's why they say next man up. Hopefully these young guys can step up. Well, Devin, they've done more than step up. They're 4-3. I mean, but next man up it's a loose term that people use. It's not really fair. It's not. There's a drop-off. And, sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll find a Brandon Shell that actually did a decent job, and you're like, holy crap, we found a guy that's better than the swing tackle that we normally have right now, which, Greg Little just lost his job. So I have seen improvement with the running game. Mostert is doing good. Bring Gaskin back over Chase. That's probably going to happen, my friend. It's probably going to happen. We will have Cameron Wolf here at the bottom of the hour. By the way, I saw not what's it called? Not that I'm going to put it on the KSDT Sports Business report. I will have one later on another story, but I saw where Adidas dropped Kanye West finally. I was surprised that it took this long to drop the anti-Semite. I mean, there's no space in this world for hate, for bias, for racism. You know, that was disgusting what Kanye did. And I was going back and forth with a friend of mine who's a financial advisor, and he was going, "Why don't we have the same, passion for the N-word?" And I was telling him, "Well, that's because we don't control the N-word. The black community controls the N-word. They use it as a term of endearment. They're the ones that are desensitizing it. We can't control it." You know what I mean? Can you imagine me going after someone of color for using the N-word? It's like people of color will come after me like, "You shut up. It's not your place," which is not, So I was telling him that. I said, it's apples and oranges. What Kanye is doing is apples and oranges. It has nothing to do with the N-word. I thought he was completely off on that one, because that there's a whole other topic with that one. But what Kanye, and listen, if you want to allow it in lyrics and part of your culture and talking about it and part of your language constantly, that's what the black community has done with that word. Not us. I don't use it. I'm Hispanic. We don't desensitize the word spick. Okay. All right. So, that's a line that's a subject that's got to be solved from within that community. But Kanye going DEFCON, whatever it was on the Jewish, come on, dude. What are you, what's wrong with you? He's crazy. That's what it is. He's crazy. He's a crazy person. You can't defend that guy. But you can't defend or support anybody that is spewing any kind of hate. Any kind of hate. Not for blacks, not for Hispanics, not for Asians, not for the Jewish community, not for the Baptist community, not for Catholics, not for anything. I don't care. Straight, LGBT, you name it. There should be zero tolerance for any kind of hate or bias or racism towards anything like that. And what Kanye did deserves to get absolutely ostracized, just like we've done to Mel Gibson, just like we've done to Michael Richards, right? Is it Michael Richards? Is that the guy from Seinfeld? Is it Michael Richards or whatever? I think it's something like that. All those people, once they have spewed we've ostracized them. Because there's no space in this world for that at all. And Gibson is also another stinking anti-Semite. Just like, hey, a lot of us have kind of X'd out Roger Waters for his disgusting views too. That's how it goes. And Kanye is walking into the same sphere as Roger Waters. You want to put yourself there? That's the way it goes, dude. That's the way it goes. So I have zero sympathy for Kanye West. Okay? I hope he gets sued over and over. I hope he loses everything. Okay? No space in this world for any kind of acting like that. And if he's crazy, then go get help. And if you refuse to go get help, well, then guess what? We don't need to tolerate your ass. And that's it. So eventually he'll lose the power, he'll lose the name, he'll lose everything, because that's what will happen to you in this world, especially if you're going to be spewing hate like that. So there you go. Anyway. Let Yeezy do his craziness. He, him, or you don't. Antonio Brown is crazy and people celebrate. Well, that's listen, It's not a matter of letting anything, bro. You don't allow people to be spewing hate. So they need to pay the price for that. You don't go after other human beings because of their color, because of their nationality, because of their religion, because of their sexuality, whatever. So once people start using that as the reason why they are doing anything, then those are the people that we cannot tolerate. So too bad. And if he's crazy, well, then guess what? He's now going to pay the price for being crazy because he's also hateful and he's spewing hate. So there you go. So no, let's not let Kanye. Let's crush Kanye. Okay. Kanye seems to check a lot of boxes in the psychological DSM. Oh, there's no doubt he's batshit crazy. That's obvious. What about all of the anti-white racism, Big O? None of any kind of racism is not right, sir. But you want to try something specific, sir? Or you just want to throw general terms out there? I'm talking about something specific. You got something specific for me? You got an example you want to tell me so I can tell you what it is and what's wrong with it? So give me something specific. Okay? You want to join the conversation? Add something to it. Don't just throw some abstract bullshit comment out there. Let's see. Oh, will the Dolphins ever bring back a real dolphin in the end zone? No, not even a hologram. Maybe they'll put it on the big screen is what they can do. Remember, with PETA, it would have to be a hologram because PETA will not allow you to bring a dolphin anymore into the stadium and start, jumping around and all that stuff. Tua Time says, can't stand Roger Waters as a person, but what him and Gilmore, Wright, and Mason did in Pink Floyd was amazing. Yes, but I will not. When Roger tours, I don't go see him at all. I have no support whatsoever for Roger Waters. Now, David Gilmore tours, and I'm trying to get front seats. Okay? Roger Waters, you can give me tickets, and I'll urinate on those tickets. Okay? And I'll tell you, get that out of my face. I don't want anything to do with Roger Waters. Okay? I get it. The music and all that, but now that I know what he's all about, I have no interest whatsoever in Roger Waters. Roger Waters, for me, can disappear off the face of the earth, and I won't lose 1 second of sleep. Let's put it that way. Okay? So Roger Waters, to me, is dead. Basically. That's the way I look at it. I don't have time for people that are hateful and stuff like that. There's no space for any of that. Let's do it, baby. Let's unleash the wolf pack. There he is. You ready to go?
What's up, Bo?
Sean's still working on the opens there.
Yeah, usually there's like a 20-second transition. So
yes. We hopefully have the opens very soon. Anyway, tired of blending sports and politics. Stop the Hey, Fulgencio, it's been around since they asked Ted Williams to go serve in the military, and Muhammad Ali, and the Olympics, and so sports and politics have been tied together, my brother. You don't like it? Get the fuck off the platform. Is that clear enough for you, Fulgencio? This is my show. It says the Big O Show. I talk about whatever I want, not what Fulgencio wants. Are we understanding ourselves here? Okay? I talk about sports, life, music, culture, you name it. I'm a well-rounded person. If you have blinders on and only want to talk about sports, this is the wrong show, my brother. By the way, Bitcoin is going up a little bit right now. Like I said, wrong show for you. You do not control any content on this show. I control all the content on this show. You don't like it, Fuencio? Get the hell out. Okay?
Good morning.
Hopefully, no. You know what I love? I love schmucks that think that they can control or tell me what to talk about when I've been doing this for 33 years. And there's a reason why I've been doing it for 33 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is who I am. This is who I've always been. So I'm not a Neanderthal that can only talk sports. If you want that, go find it somewhere else, dude. There are plenty of places, but I don't limit myself and my opinions. So you don't like it, too bad. Anyway, is what it is. So how you doing, Cam?
I'm good. Good morning.
A great morning.
Yeah, you came in. You had some things to get off your chest. I was like, all right,
yeah,
let them go.
I have one rule on the show. Don't tell me what to do, bro. I'm 56 years old, bro. I'm setting my ways. You think you're going to tell me what to do now? Come on, man. Give me a break. And I've gotten this far without Fuencio's help. I certainly don't need it right now. That's for goddamn sure. All right, let's get into it. Dude, how do they replace Brandon Jones?
Yeah, I kind of alluded to it after the game, but the word was that it was not going to be great. And the team hasn't referenced it as season ending, but I think they have to prep to be without him for the rest of the year. And so, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, they already had issues at cornerback. I think this is another spot. I mentioned it Sunday. They might have to prepare as if Byron Jones doesn't return, given that he's been half the season out at this point. So you had two starters who were supposed to be a big part of your plan, who you can't really count on for sure to be a part of the second half of the season. And so I think they have to be active in the trade deadline. We talked about it Sunday. The trade deadline is often a big zero in the NFL compared to baseball. But I do think that even if it's a minor move, I think some sort of move to get a starting caliber DB, whether it be a cornerback or a safety, is needed for sure, because you can't continue to ask Justin Bethel, Noah Igbinoghene, and Clayton Fedulum to stand on their head and do this the rest of the season. One game, sure. In a pinch, if you have to do this against the Lions this week, sure, in a pinch. But the rest of the season, as you get late in the year, as you try to get into playoff mode, I just don't know if you can continue to survive with those guys out there. Like I said, they played admirably this past game, but I don't want to see a lineup of Justin Bethel, Noah Igbinoghene, and Clayton Fedulum when the season's on the line. And I don't think the Dolphins want to either. So I'd imagine there's been a lot of conversations had. The problem is a lot of teams, as we talked about on Sunday, don't think they're out of the picture. There's 2 and 5 teams out there that said, hey, if we get on a little run, we can make the playoffs. And no, you're not. But because of that, a lot of teams are going to hold tight or have a strong value on their players. So they're going to have to try to find a team. And like we talked about, they traded a lot of capital for Tyreek Hill. They got their first round pick taken away in the Stephen Ross tampering deal there. So they are very light on draft picks. And so you have a situation now where do you want to invest more draft picks in getting an immediate need? I know a lot of fans will say, oh, well, trade Mike Gesicki, but we talked about just the value and how you have to have another team that wants to value him and pay his salary to do that.
There's one more.
Who else are you referring to?
Cedric Wilson.
Negative trade value. $6.5, $7 million salary for a player who is not even playing ahead of River Craycraft
because that's because it's a different kind of player that you need for River to be complementing the other two. That's not what Ced does.
I understand that, but I think
it's not Ced's fault that he's not productive. In other words, I feel bad for the kid. And it drives me crazy when people are like, oh, what a waste of money with Ced. Well, yeah, dude, because they've signed him before Tyreek became available.
Right.
And then he said, it's like you married Mama June. And then all of a sudden, by some miracle, Halle Berry knocked on the door and said, listen, if you divorce her, I'll marry you. And you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to divorce that bitch. I'm going to Halle. And so it's what happened. You can't blame the Dolphins that Halle Berry all of a sudden became available, and who's not taking, the most delicious fruit on the world.
Right. No, absolutely. I think the core of your point there is on point. This is a team that did not plan to have Tyreek Hill when they signed Cedric Wilson. And they signed Cedric Wilson with the idea that he's going to be the starter opposite Jalen Waddle, gives them a little balance.
They don't have to pay the signing bonus. Miami already paid the signing bonus.
Miami but he does essentially have 2 years guaranteed on this deal.
All right, and so Seattle has a bunch of defensive backs. They kind of need a receiver.
So I hear you. Here's where I'll stop you here.
I'm just saying, maybe that's the guy. I'm just saying.
I hear you. I hear you. It would be ideal, but I'm telling you right now, Cedric Wilson has negative trade value around the league right now based on his salary. If you want to eat some of that salary and dump him, essentially, cool. Yeah. But I don't think you're going to get anything of significant value for Cedric Wilson, given his salary and the commitment that you've paid for him at this point. You got to remember, Cedric Wilson was technically a number 4 receiver for Dallas when they signed him there. So they were betting on his potential. And now we've seen him in a little bit of an elevated role, although it's been decreased in recent weeks. And he has not been productive. And so even they tried to put him out there as a punt returner yesterday, and it did not, there was nothing. There's got nothing from that punt return game at all. So that's not his skill set. Like I said, I'm not blaming Cedric, but I also think that ultimately he does have some responsibility in not playing great. It's the reality of it. Maybe it's part of it's the fit, but I think he's not playing great. I mean, there's guys who sign free agent contracts and just it has not clicked for whatever reason. Chase Edmonds, another guy there. They signed him to be their starting running back.
Yeah, but shit, he gets playing time. He's gotten plenty of opportunities.
Cedric's got playing time too. Cedric has got playing time.
Yeah,
he just has not taken advantage of it.
God, but it's so few and far between.
We got to keep it real here, right? Cedric was getting 50+% of the snaps the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and he was delivering 1 catch for 10 yards. And then he had the rib injury, and he came back, and they put 2 guys ahead of him who honestly have been more productive.
They weren't targeting him. They were targeting Hill and Tyreek like you're supposed to, dude.
Right. But ideally, this is what we talked about in camp, right? If Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are the guys you're targeting, all defenses are gearing in on them. Somebody else has to be open, right? And so you've seen in recent weeks, even Mike Gesicki, who hasn't got much playing time,
another guy
has started to get. He had that big game a couple games ago, and even this game, he had a handful of catches because he's getting one-on-one coverage. Everybody's having attention to Tyreek Hill. So all you got to do is figure out
Smythe has been missing. He's been banged up too, right? So that's kind of elevated. True. But Gesicki is in a position where he's elevated and he has no competition. Whereas poor Cedric Wilson has 2 number 1 monsters in front of him.
The reality is whoever the number 3 receiver is, you're going to be an afterthought in this offense because of Cedric, because of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. That's the reality of it. That being said, I do think they could get more production out of their number 3 spot, even in those limited roles, which is why I think you're seeing Trent Sherfield and seeing River Craycraft play ahead of him. That's not just a decision because, whatever. They're playing those guys because they feel like they are giving them more out of that spot than Cedric Wilson at this time. So just my whole idea is like, guys, you see a big salary and a guy that doesn't fit, like, let's trade Chase Edmonds. Let's trade Cedric Wilson. Let's trade Mike Gesicki. Well, every team doesn't want your bad fit players or players who are not necessarily, appearing to be worth their value in your scheme of salary. They're going to have the same questions you are. And so it's very rare that you find a fit where, hey, this guy is being completely misused. And we think that we'll take him at his salary and use him perfectly in our scheme. And so I think that, maybe there's a salary dump deal happening. I just don't think you get any significant value at this point for any of those 3 guys at their current salary. So that's just my view of it.
Yeah, I think Cedric in the right offense could help somebody, and then obviously Gesicki. If you're going to showcase him, obviously I think he can definitely help you out. So those are guys that may be able to bring something back.
Gesicki's definitely the best player of those 3 guys we mentioned, and I think in the right.
Yeah, but harder to trade because you got to have a hard cap. Well, now it's only 5, right?
Yeah, he's making $11 million, and so around the deadline it would be closer to 5.5 because you prorate that salary.
So it's not bad, actually.
But still, like I said, that's still, even you're paying 5.5 for half a season, that's still a significant contribution for a guy who, like you said, is a big receiver. So it would be best for a team who strictly needs a big receiver or lost a guy that they anticipated being that big receiver for the season. And, we saw it with the Jets trading for James Robinson. James Robinson was not on their radar until they lost Breece Hall with a torn ACL. You lose Breece Hall, you need a 1-for-1 replacement. You go and trade for James Robinson. Maybe that's a situation for Mike Gesicki. Somebody, whether it's a big tight end or a big receiver, gets hurt, and you say, hey, we'll make a 1-for-1 trade here and, give you a 6th or 7th round pick to eat the whole salary, or maybe you eat some of the salary and you give us, a 4th or something of sort. It's just me spitballing. But that's the route to me that makes sense. Otherwise, I think they just keep them and try to make it work the rest of the year.
I'm with you. I think they'll try to make a move, whether it happens or not. I'm sure a trade or two will come through by the deadline, but it won't be a lot of trades, obviously, because it rarely ever is. And hopefully you would think cornerback, pass rusher.
Yeah, to me, cornerback and or safety would be the priorities.
Big time, yeah.
Because the reality of it is you're a team that this past week, and I mentioned this on NFL Network yesterday, they played zone coverage 71% of the snaps, which is the most they've played zone since week 1 against the Patriots. And so this is a team, as we know, that loves to play man coverage. They love to blitz you. They love to do cover 0. They cannot do that scheme with some of the players they have on the field currently due to injuries. And so maybe they transition completely to being more of a zone team, but I think they would love to go back to what they love to do. And do that, you're going to need good DB play. And so, X had a really good game this past week, probably his best game in what's been a rocky season for him, to be honest. But the rest of the guys on that team, maybe you get Kader Kohu back, maybe you get Keon Crossan back, but you've seen just how thin they are, where 1 or 2 injuries leads them to playing a lot of these guys who they don't necessarily want to play. Noah had a huge interception, big moment for him, props for him. But even in that game, he was still getting beat consistently. And so I don't think that's a guy that you honestly want to have on the field a ton. And so
he's Paul Langford. He's Paul Langford. You're obviously, you're a youngin on this beat. But as an old guy, Paul Langford played back in the 80s and into the very early 90s. Maybe not. Maybe he just was cut right at the end of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He made one play in his entire career, number 44. Very athletic, just like Noah, really a super athlete. He finds it's amazing the similarities.
Yep.
They're super athletic. They're both fast. They're right there with the receivers a lot of times, and it's ball skills that get in their way sometimes. And he made one play, and it was against Kansas City. It was at Joe Robbie Stadium at that time, and he knocked down a pass in the back of the end zone. It was the only play he ever made, and it kind of reminded me of watching Noah on Sunday, that he makes that one interception. But more often than not, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. He can't find the ball in the air. He keeps biting for the double move. He keeps making a lot of the same mistakes over and over again. And it's nice to see him make that play, but you just wonder if, I talk a lot about quarterbacks who are athletes trying to play the quarterback position, like Tannehill and like Lamar and those kind of guys. This is the same thing. This is a terrific athlete that's trying to make the switch from receiver to corner. And you just wonder if those instincts, just like Ryan, will those instincts of a quarterback ever kick in? And I don't know, man. It's really tough for that to happen. Sometimes you almost feel like those players have to be that position from when they're young so they can develop those natural instincts that come with that position.
Yeah, to me, when they drafted Noah, it was a project, and they overdrafted him. You know, you don't draft, in my opinion, projects in the first round. I think he probably was close to a third or fourth round grade for a lot of people. And I think if he was a third or fourth round prospect, we would look at it differently as a guy that's continuing to develop. Either he makes it or he doesn't. Because your first round pick, you have added pressure. Maybe that's affected him, but I do think there's a lot of reality where sometimes these projects work, sometimes they don't. And I think that the good news for Noah, I don't know if it saves him as far as his career and continuing it for a long period of time, but some of the biggest questions about him have been his ball skills, have been his ability, because he's been in position largely. Yeah. It's just figuring out where the ball is, finding the ball, making a play on it. And that play, although it was a terrible decision by Kenny Pickett, hopefully that helps in at least the confidence perspective for ball skills. And so, you know, they're going to need him at least this week, because they're, you know, whatever they make move wise doesn't seem like it's going to be impactful or soon enough for them to get a guy in for this week. And so you're going to need Noah to start once again opposite X. And so Noah's probably their only healthy top corner right now. You know, even X is not fully healthy, dealing with that groin injury. Maybe, like I said, maybe you get Cater back, maybe you get Keon, but right now you're going to have to depend on him. And like I mentioned, safety without Brandon Jones for what looks like it'll probably be the season. You're going to need somebody else, because he was a very key role there as a blitzer, as a guy who could cover tight ends, as a guy who could be your big box safety or dime linebacker. And really the communication between him and Javon was really smooth. And he was getting better as a coverage player as well. I know that's not his forte, but he was showing better flashes of that this season. So that's going to be another notable loss. So for me, if I was GM Chris Grier, which I am not, I would certainly go find a way to get a corner, a receiver. You might have to go for another sort of reclamation project. Like, a lot of teams are not giving up their guys. So maybe it's, you know, you call Tennessee up and say, hey, Caleb Farley, their first round pick from 2021, has not worked out so far for them. He's a guy who has been moved down to their number 4 corner. Maybe a scheme fit there changes, and that might be a guy that you could get for a day 3 pick that doesn't cost you a lot. Like I said, I'm just spitballing different ideas. You know, I know the Colts have Kenny Moore, who's been a really good slot corner out there. He wanted a new contract this offseason, and he did not get it. And that's a team that's 2-5. They just benched their quarterback. Maybe you try to call on that. You know, the Raiders, they have Jonathan Abram, who was a first round pick not too long ago. You know, he has not been playing well, but like I said, you're not in the situation to be super picky here. And I'm just looking for guys.
He does a lot of stupid shit too, bro.
That's true. That's true. That is true. And that's why the Raiders will be willing to shop him.
I think he's one of the most overrated players in the last 5 years in the NFL. I don't believe he's a good football player at all.
So to the point where I don't even think that he's overrated in football circles, because I don't think there's a lot of people who think that he's a good safety at this point.
No, he's not.
I think right now, like I'm saying, I'm trying to manage expectations, because I think that there is a
I'd be very disappointed in the Dolphins and Chris Grier if they traded for.
Like I said, I am spitballing. This is not reporting. This is just me spitballing.
No, I got you.
And I think what you're going to have to try to find is guys who are who have not worked out right now for their current teams for whatever reason. Like I mentioned, Caleb Farley is a guy who's early in that department. A guy like Kenny Moore, who's in the last year of his deal for a team that's looking towards rebuilding or not being good. Or you know, because to me, and maybe I'm wrong on this, because I said this in the preseason when the Byron Jones stuff was going on. I was like, you have to get a corner, and then, you know, Mike McDaniel, Josh Boyer said, hey, we're confident in our guys. And then Cater Kohu came out of nowhere and became a player. And so I'm like, oh, they were right. I did not see it coming. But now Cater's been hurt the last couple of games. And Keon Crossan, who has played well in spurts, has been hurt a lot. And so now that depth is really tested. I just don't see how this team can try to truck through with some of their thin DB depth, especially given, like I said, some of their guys who are already playing hurt. And so that to me would by far be the top priority. You can make it work on the O-line. You know, pass rush, Jalen Phillips has been really picking it up over the last 2 or 3 weeks. You need more from Emmanuel Agba, but ideally he's coming back this week. He was out this past week injury-wise.
Interesting how when you have Jalen stop covering and rushing more, he becomes a different player. Interesting how that works out.
Right. I mean, sometimes it's very simple. Your attack players should attack.
Yeah. And by the way, I put this out. The injuries they've had which is a crap ton, and it has started since the offseason with Byron Jones, which, again, that's an enigma that I'm wondering what the hell's going on behind the scenes with Byron Jones, by the way.
Just quick clarification. I can't, I'll give you some context that I'm able to give at this point. I do think that Byron Jones is working hard to come back. I think there's some fan perspective that he's kind of milking this. I don't think that's the type of guy he is. I do think there have been things that even beyond the Achilles and cleanup that he initially had that has kept him back. And I think that right now his rehab has not gone well. And it's been multiple things from what I understand. And so, that's why I'm saying because of that, there's been belief from people I've talked to that he may not be back. We're going to see. He's still pushing.
Listen, there's some rumblings, and I haven't been able to confirm this. There's some rumblings that he's been kind of diva-ish about his return and that he's very particular about having to be 100%. And not 90 and not 95, and that he's not very comfortable coming back, not completely. And that's been kind of frustration. So let me tell you something. I haven't been able to confirm this, that part of the story, if it's true or not. So I don't know if it's true. But yesterday in the press conference, when he said the doctor it's nothing to do with the doctors, and they've done everything that they can possibly do. Right. And that's, I'm kind of paraphrasing what he was saying, but he clearly, he like took the doctor part out of the mix.
Right.
So all of a sudden now it's down to the player. Are you really healthy? Are you not comfortable going out there at 90, 95? We really need you. No, I'm not. That. That's what I'm hearing, that there's kind of some diva-ish stuff going on with him in his rehab. I don't know if you hear the same thing.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. Like I said, from what I've heard about Byron as a guy, I would be surprised if he's milking this like just to get paid and not want to play.
No. It has nothing to do with milking.
Gotcha. Okay. Maybe I misunderstood you. That's why I was like, I would be surprised if that was
particular about how he comes back. Like some guys will suck it up like X and say, no, I'm going to play, and I'm going to play through 2 growing injuries and, and those kind of things. I'm Armstead. I'm playing through the toe.
Right.
And from what I'm hearing, I don't know if it's true. Again, I have not confirmed this because the person I got it from is not normally a source of mine. But from what I'm hearing, somebody told me that there's a little diva-ish in his ways of, like, some people feel he can come back and then he's not very comfortable. He's one of those. There are players like that, by the way, that if they don't feel like a Ferrari, they don't want to go out there like a Volkswagen. Right. That's just the way they are.
Yeah. So there are certainly some guys who, especially like you said, older guys who are very meticulous in their recovery, and especially coming off a significant injury. Sometimes it's just as much mental as it is physical. You're coming off of significant surgery if you haven't played. Like I said, I can't speak to Byron in this particular situation, but I'm speaking in general. There are players who are very hesitant because they can't push off a certain way, and they don't feel fully themselves. And sometimes you hear about these injuries, whether it be, surgery on Achilles or knees, and they're not themselves until the second half of the year, or 6 months.
They're not willing to overcompensate one way or another for it. Like we all know that's what X is doing, bro.
Right.
That's how he got the second.
And so that's a great point. The reality is, I wish that X would sit out. Would have sat out multiple games. Because he was so sure that he was 100%. And as we saw in times, he does not appear to be 100%. And I think the fan base hopefully appreciates that he's fighting through it. Like, this is a guy who he got a new contract, so he could have easily said, "Hey, I got to get healthy. I'm not gonna put bad tape out there. I have a label to protect, and so I'm gonna make sure I'm out so I'm healthy." But he would have got criticized from fans. Fans would have been like, "Oh, he's got his money, and now and so you got to look at it both ways. Now you have a guy who's playing.
And by the way, after the Will Fuller situation last year, that doesn't help Byron Jones. And optics. I'm just talking about optics.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you it's fact. I'm just talking about optics. And that's part of it also, that the fan base just went through the Will Fuller situation. So it's so fresh in their minds that they're wondering, what's up with, first of all, Byron waited till March to have the surgery when he should have had it earlier. And now he's got a delay. And then the coaches thought he was going to be ready. And now look at this. And now I heard the coach yesterday say, well, the doctors have done everything they possibly can or whatever. I'm like, oh shit. Because that's kind of that was information right there that he left that if you picked up on it, there's something there, dude. There's something there when he said that.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into these injuries that us on the outside don't always see. But I do think there are people in that building who kind of know what the situation is, and
I'm trying to dig to find out what the hell's going on with that situation and why.
I've alluded to some of it, and I think that this is a situation where if they get Byron Jones back for the last month or two of the season, then great. But I think this team should prep as if they will not. I think this is a situation where, given the uncertainty there, you can't count on, we're going to get Byron back at some point as a reason why you don't make a move.
Well, then you cut his ass and don't expect him to be back next year if that's going to be the case. That's for sure. But look at this. Injuries. You got a new offensive coach and staff. QB misses 3 games. You have one of the tough starts in the NFL. You go 3-1 in that tough start, by the way.
Yep.
Basically, you're screwed by the NFL with these bogus-ass protocols because Tua probably could have played last week, and Teddy didn't have to get out in the Jets game after he prepared all.
Tua decision was the Dolphins' decision.
Yeah, it's all the optics bullshit. I get all of that. It's all the whole thing that went on. But you think about everything that's gone on. They're 4-3, bro. They're 4-3.
Yeah, they're still in the mix of it.
I was trying to tell people today, look at all the crap this team has been through in just the first 7 weeks.
Right.
And they've overcome it to be 4-3. I find that to be absolutely awesome. I got to tell you.
I think, given their situation, they're in a decent spot. And I mentioned it on NFL Network yesterday. I think this team, from what we've seen and what they've gone through, they're built like a playoff team to me. It's a team that, albeit with some flaws, and we've talked about a lot of those flaws today. Some of the injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They have to get more pass rush. They got to figure out how to run the ball consistently. They got to keep their O-line healthy because they're thin depth-wise there. And the offense with Tua and the receivers have to get back in sync to where they were early in the season, right? So those are elements that right now need to be worked on, are currently flaws. But I think right now, they're one of the best 7 teams in the AFC. And I think that if I had to put money on it, which I cannot NFL because I do not gamble. I'm not gambling here. But if I had to put money on it, I would say the Dolphins are a playoff team. Probably a wild card team, but a playoff team nonetheless this year.
Okay, unlike you, tied to the corporate stuff, I have laid money. And I took the Dolphins over 8.5, baby. So I did it for you. So there you go. You can live vicariously through me. That's all.
Right.
That's it. Okay.
Right.
So when
but
win,
like I said,
I will treat you to a beer, and that's it. And we'll celebrate.
Right. But like I said, I do think this team is a good spot, but there are flaws that they need to correct. You can't just assume that because we beat the Bills and the Ravens early in the season that we're going to fly off of that. Like, there was concerning things watching that offense. Even we talked a lot about the defense. The defense played well. They won that game. There are concerning things to me that you can use Russ as an excuse for 1 week. But if it looks like that against Detroit, it becomes a significant issue. Tua has to throw the ball more accurately than he did this past Sunday. He threw 3 or 4 passes.
He was off, bro.
This was probably Tua's worst game of the season, which says a lot to where he has been playing. But if it's a 1-game thing, you're just coming back, okay. This week, I think I'm going to keep a closer eye because if, some of those targets that were off target, the timing, things that Tyreek was open, Jalen was open, we just miss them. Those things can't consistently happen because you're an offense.
Hey, Cam, look at the first couple scores. Look at the first couple scores. People say, "Oh, he was hot from at the beginning, then went cold." Go look at those throws. All of them weren't on target either on those scores. Some of them were behind, some were a little high. All these kind of things. So he wasn't really sharp right from the get-go. I explained this earlier in the show, and I know we got to go because you've been on long as hell already. But you have the entire offseason with your team. Yep. Then you come to training camp with your team. Then you come to the preseason, and that's why you start red hot. And now you go out for 24 days, and that takes Stella out of her groove.
It does.
And so now Stella's got to get back in her groove. And I would imagine that now with the reps and the timing, because he's not a gun type guy, he's a timing type quarterback.
Rhythm.
Yeah, rhythm. He'll be fine.
That's why I said, like, at this point, I'm going to treat it as a poor game, a struggling game, partly because of rust. And if it doesn't get in Detroit, then it becomes okay. Amen. What's going on? What happened to the first 3 games, there? Right. But I saw enough in that first drive on how the offense is moving, how they're separating, and how they're getting the ball out quickly. Like Tua was the 3rd fastest quarterback time to throw this past week, that I want to see that iteration of the offense. And I think that they can show it and be good enough to be a playoff team. We just need to see a little bit more accuracy, a little bit less drops consistently from the offense.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his exceptional work there at the NFL Network, and he'll join us later on in the week on our KSDT CPA Miami Dolphins and NFL Report. Cam, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later in the week.
All right, appreciate you.
You got it. Boy, Cam gets a break. He doesn't even have to go to Detroit this week. That's like a blessing. Like, they must love him at his job. Hey, Cam, we're going to do you a favor. You don't have to go to Detroit. Oh, thank God. Sorry, Detroit. Let's see. Lord Waters, thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, thoughts on adding Kareem Hunt? I mean, a running back wouldn't hurt, but I would rather have a defensive back right now, or safety, or a defensive end right now. Juice F5, Derwin James or Jesse Bates as trade targets. James didn't he just sign a big ass deal? I think. And Ozone 377, he says, Big O just don't like it when people have their own opinions, that it's not in line with his. Yo, everyone has their own opinions. Just respect it, even though Ozone, my brother, are you stupid or something? What did it have to do with a guy saying, I don't want the politics in the sports? That's not an opinion. That's a demand. It's not an opinion, dude. That's somebody trying to tell me how to do a show. There's a huge difference. Lots of people have opinions, and I can disagree with the opinions. Now, when anybody wants to try to run this show, that's rule number 1 on this show. Do not tell the host how to run the show. You're not the host. I am. So that's it. Has nothing to do. Plenty of people disagree. I'm cool with disagree. Okay? Cam and I. He was thinking Cedric, he thinks can't get traded. I think you can get rid of him. I think somebody would take him for one of their backups, because that's basically what you're trading, plus you're getting rid of salary. We disagreed on that. Big deal. That's all. Yes, sir, Sean. Your mic? Did you fix it? Is it broken again? Is he trying to talk? Because I can't hear him. Can't see him because he's hiding behind the damn Caneswear billboard.
For some reason, I was muted. I muted myself because it's better that way. Before the season started, 4 years, 76.5 for Derwin James.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That trade ain't happening. That's a lot of money that they would have to, eat, overall. So, yeah, I doubt that they would do that. Rosendo says, good morning, Big O Nation. May Tuesday be filled with numerous blessings from above, that the Lord would grant you the grace and peace you need. There you go. All right, let's take a quick break. Hour number 1 is done. Hour number 2 is next.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
It is hour number 2. We're already well into hour number 2. And boy, something's going on right now. A little Bitcoin action. Look out. There we go. Look at that. It is shooting up, baby. How about that? Bitcoin's at 19,574, 581 right now. It's climbing. As I've told you guys for the last couple months that, I think we're going to be like in this funk for 6 to 9 months. So I would imagine at least another 6 months to go, because I think I told you this about 3 months ago, and we probably have about another 6 months to go. But there is one thing that keeps me thinking that Bitcoin could go up faster than I expected, and that is the collapse of many dollars around the world, from the yen to the ruble to whatever, you name it, that the pound. I mean, everything is suffering except the dollar. And so you would imagine that those folks, a lot of the people that live in those countries, and then some of the other countries that already have been having their issues, like Colombia and Argentina and Brazil and, many other countries, that I just wonder if that would fast track the rise of Bitcoin. Not of the crypto overall market yet, because I think that's going to take a little time for more mass adoption. But for Bitcoin, I'm almost thinking that there's going to be a lot. I mean, in the Ukraine and Russia, you think, China, the way they locked out their banks, I would imagine that those people, if they're smart, they're trying to, stash some money in Bitcoin so they can hold their value, because obviously dollars all over the world are crumbling right now because all the other governments have done all the stupid things we've done, like printing a crap ton of money, because that's not how you really resolve things, but whatever. So I just wonder this might be another one of those little pumps, and then it comes back down again, and it is hung in there in the 19 area for a while now, which is pretty amazing. So there you go. Decentralized currency will rule all soon. Yes, it will, William Youngblood. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. You can bet your ass on that, baby. No doubt about that. The bad thing about crypto is the adoption phase of CBDC. What are you talking about? Like of stable coins? That's not a bad thing. That's actually going to be a good thing. What we need is the regulation on it. So that would really then, take off. ETH is climbing too. Well, that usually when Bitcoin starts to climb, everything starts to climb in the process, So, or this is a pump and dump that happened prior to every Fed meeting. It could be that you could be right on target, Carlos. Now, like I said, it could be one of these little mini pumps and it goes right back down again. I like I said, I hope that we're still in this funk for another 6 months. Be quite honest. I don't have any hurry. I want you to buy me time so I can keep collecting some Bitcoin at this price. Okay. So I've been buying it all the way down. And now, are you kidding me? At these numbers, I try to hog up as much as I can every chance I can. Every chance I can. I know what the hell is coming, man. And I am not going to get left behind this time. Mike Jante says, "Oh, you were right about Odyssey. Just found out they laid off Zaslow, who had a nice following. They also took him off the Heat radio broadcast. Continue what you're doing. It's awesome." Well, dude, I mean, not only that. I mean, look, bro. Odyssey's a joke. Okay, here you go. Here. You want to laugh? You want to laugh? Okay. Let me show you something. I told you that they would file for bankruptcy also. Didn't I tell you that? It's coming. Okay? They're filing for bankruptcy. It's a terrible business. Zaz has no reason to get fired, but they do, like lots of people. It has nothing to do with it. So here's the Odyssey stock. It's at 36 cents. You looking at it? 36 cents. Let's have a little fun. Let's go 5 years ago. It was at 1090 on December 8th of 2017. 720, May 25th of 2018. 356, August 30th of 2019. 36, what is it? $1.38, June 10th of 2020. It goes up to $5.02 in March of 2021. And then look at it now, 36 cents. A year ago, it was at 361. It's now at 36 cents. This is Odyssey Intercom, the same garbage company. They've fired like 80. They either have lost or fired 80% of their talent. The talent is what brings in the money. So, I mean, it's whatever, man. People, they live in fantasy land. And that's why a couple years ago, I was dying to get the hell out. And I was so freaking happy that they let me go because I knew I would be able to do this because I knew this is the direction that we're going in. Platforms. Nobody listens to radio. People are turning off radio. They don't want to sit there through 6, 7, 8-minute commercial breaks. 30 minutes of commercials, 35 minutes of commercials in an hour with updates and traffic and repeated segments. And I mean, it's just, it's silly. It's silly. It's such a poorly run business. It's not even funny, but that's how it goes. Muzi says, I buy a little Bitcoin every paycheck while it's this low. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know? Decentralized sounds nice until you realize transactions on a ledger, which means they can track everything. I'm sorry, Jeff, are you a criminal? I must have missed that. I'm sorry, Jeff. Dude, I'm sorry the criminals are now going to be able to be tracked if they're trying to embezzle, steal. You know, that's why somebody stole about $6 million of Bitcoin several years ago, about 8 years ago. They couldn't sell it. It turned into a couple billion. Okay, because Bitcoin went up so much. And guess what? They recovered it. Do you know why? Because they can track it. I know, Jeff, people like you are criminals. You'd rather go into a bank and steal money, and then that way they can't track the money ever, because in the vault, they're really not tracking the numbers. That would have to be in the Federal Reserve where they have the numbers tracked or anything. But, you know, I get it. When you rob a 7-Eleven, you don't want anybody to track your money, Jeff. I understand when you're doing your drug deals, you don't want anybody to track your money, my brother. I mean, I'm sorry, Jeff, that you have so much to hide, my man. You know, like, wow. Yeah. What a shame, dude. They're tracking your transactions. Yeah. Maybe it's because that way they can actually protect them. What a shocker, Jeff. What a shocker. Yeah, no, it's not good for criminals, Jeff. Yeah, money laundering, things like that, Jeff. You're going to have problems with that, So social credit scores coming in emissions tax. Jeff, it's all right, my brother. It's all right. Big O, sorry if this name was mentioned earlier. I missed it. The DB Jackson, still viable option from Washington. It all depends on what they want, my brother. That's all. It's all about compensation. Big O isn't messing around today. No, it's just there's a lot of misinformed people like Jeff. You know what I mean? Because I know Jeff is not a criminal, but he repeats something stupid that someone else says. And he doesn't realize that the blockchain is there to protect you, to protect businesses, to protect their goods. Okay, so they can really track their inventory so it cannot be duplicated and stolen. Jeff doesn't understand those kind of things. That, like in the future, you will sell your artwork, okay, on the blockchain. And then when someone else sells it, the artist will get a 20% cut every time it's sold. If you buy concert tickets, guess what? There's no more scalping now. Now, when you resell the tickets, it's on the blockchain. It's not paper and all that. You can't print fake tickets anymore, all that. And the artist is going to get the cut from the resale of it for more money. How do you like them apples? It's all coming, Jeff. So people can't steal your trademark. They can't steal your logos. They can't duplicate stuff. That's what it's all there for. It's there to actually protect you like it's never protected you before, because the internet doesn't protect you. And by the way, Jeff, how's it going with real money? Are you being protected there when they keep printing trillions and the money you have in the bank keeps being worth less and less and less because you buy less and less with it because it's gone down? How's that working out, Jeff? But don't worry about it. That money you have hiding in the mattress, we don't know about it. Yeah. Big O, freedom of speech goes away. You are like, bro, you're too fucking stupid to be talking about this, Jeff. How do we want to get like honest now? Like, what the hell is wrong with you, bro? That's the problem with this. Too few people actually understand crypto. And too many don't understand it, and there's tons of misinformation, and idiots like Jeff believe all the stupid shit that people are saying. My God. Big O, a quarter of the way into the NFL season, who's your Super Bowl favorite? Obviously, the Miami Dolphins. What's wrong with you? What kind of a question are you asking? So, I got tons of money in crypto. Okay, so now this guy says it's bad and he has tons of money. You're gone, bro. You're gone. You go from crypto's going to steal your rights and they're going to be able to track everything to then I've got tons of money in crypto. Now I know you're just a lying, phony troll. And so now you're gone. So there you go. Something is in the water today. Yeah, no, there is. There's something in the water. We just went through a guy that was dissing everything about crypto, then says he has thousands of dollars in crypto, which he has none. None whatsoever. All I want is a Lenny lock for tonight. You want a Lenny lock for tonight? What do we got going on tonight? Let's see. We got Panthers and Blackhawks. That one's kind of tough. I am going to go Miami -3 down the line, probably. That's what I am going to lean on. Let me you got to give me a little bit. I got to look at let me look at the NBA lines right now, but I doubt I'll pick something right off the bat because it's going to be tough. I wasn't thinking of giving a pick today, to be quite honest. Let's see where we at here. Love how that guy just was dissing and then says, no, I've got thousands of dollars in crypto. Okay, so we've got the Wizards -5.5 against the Pistons at home. We've got the Pelicans at home favored by, Dallas is on the road at the Pelicans favored by 4.5. We've got and they did get a couple of injuries in that game, actually. Isn't Fat Boy out also already? Didn't Fat Boy get injured? The Clippers -9.5 on the road at OKC. OKC is bad. And the Phoenix Suns are favored by 1.5 at home against the Warriors. Interesting. That one's interesting right there. I kind of like that one, I got to say. Let me look into it a little bit and then find out a little bit more about that matchup, because that one, I got to say, is kind of interesting. Warriors did not play last night, so that's good. Let me look. That might be my pick right there. I just gotta make sure we've got all the information when it comes to injuries and things like that. So give me a second on that, and I'll figure that out. The Heat are struggling. I hope they get it together. Offense is doing good, but the D, which is what they're known for, is bad right now. Well, let's talk a little Heat here, by the way. After what happened last night for the Heat. All right, let's get into that. Last night they lost to the Raptors. And in that game, they lost 98-90. They dropped to 1-3. Butler, again, stud, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Bam, the super role player, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. And Tyler was fantastic with 15 rebounds for Tyler, along with 4 assists. That's awesome. Kyle Lowry, 36 minutes, 1 of 8, 1 of 6 from three-point range, because, he wants to keep shooting threes. 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. The bench only had 15 points in this game. I know Caleb was suspended. Jovic is not really a factor right now, so it's not something that you miss. Tomorrow, they're in Portland. And by the way, tomorrow we will have Inside the Paint from 5 to 6 p.m. Okay? Not in the morning. Just so you'll know. But this Lowry contract is turning into an absolute cancer. Sean, did you watch the game yesterday with the Heat? Did you see what Precious Achiuwa did?
I did not watch 1 minute of the game. I have it recorded to watch it later, but I've not watched any of it.
Precious Achiuwa was part of that trade, right? with Kyle Lowry. And you know that they lack a power forward. He played 34 minutes. He had 10 points, 22 rebounds, and a block. Do you think 22 rebounds might help out the Heat nowadays? I'm just saying. Like, Precious Achiuwa has, like, actually turned into a decent player. And Kyle Lowry, that deal gets worse by the day. It was a bad deal last year. It's now an embarrassing deal at this point. And here's a guy that was standoffish about all of this. I don't believe he held true accountability for his shortcomings last year. And you watch that game and you watch that guy's play, and it was disgusting. Disgusting. And you continue to watch this. You know, man, I'd rather you mail in the season and get rid of some of this stuff. Because, I wasn't for the Lowry Westbrook thing along with Duncan, because I felt like, okay, so now you're just giving away Duncan. But, when I think about you're stuck with this guy for another year, and then Duncan's also for, 3 more years, then I can almost say, yeah, let's bring Westbrook in for a year or whatever months are left, and he's gone at the end of the season, and now you've got all that money free, and maybe you can add a star or something. That's if they think Lowry and, what's it called? Duncan can make the difference. They certainly need the shooter. But that Lowry deal, oh my God, that is crap. I wasn't a fan of it last year when it happened, and I'm pretty open about it. I wasn't a big fan of even extending Jimmy Butler. And they've been very lucky that he has been awesome, but eventually that's going to run out because the man's a human being. He has so much wear and tear on his body. He's already breaking down at times. But you love his heart. You love his determination. He brings it every night. That's the one thing that you admire. I can't say that Kyle Lowry's bringing it every night. Or he's losing it. Trying to bring it, but he's losing it. Yeah, he did not fall in line with this one. What was that deal? Let me go check out what was that contract? Let's see. Heat trade for Kyle Lowry. Tell you right now what that trade was. Lowry was signed a 3-year deal, $85 million with the Raptors, then be traded to Miami in exchange for Goran Dragic, Precious Achiuwa. Okay, so there you go. And Goran Dragic outplayed Lowry the other night. It's crazy. Oh, Lordy. Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Yeah, it is. It's scary. This deal is scary for the Miami Heat. If this guy doesn't turn it around, it's just going to look like what it is right now, an absolutely horrible deal. And Goran Dragic is constantly injured and older and all that, and so I get it, but he outplays him the other night. Last night, by the way, let me give you Goran Dragic's numbers. What was it? The other, what was it? Let me see, 2 nights ago? When was that game? Let me see how many nights ago was that game with Dragon? When was the game with Dragon in town? What was it, like last Friday or something? Or Thursday?
Yeah, it was Friday, because Friday was Bulls. Saturday would have been the Toronto Raptors, and then they played Monday again.
That's it. Right. You're right. You're right. It was Saturday, right? Is that what you're saying? No.
No. Saturday was Toronto, so it would have been Friday because it was a back-to-back. I think the Bulls were Friday.
Let's see. No, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. That's what it was. Wednesday. So Wednesday, Lowry went 35 minutes, 1 of 7, 2 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. Goran played only 19 minutes to Lowry's 35, went 4 of 8, 4 of 5 from three-point range, 12 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 1 turnover. Half the time, double the productivity and efficiency. So you traded Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa for Kyle Lowry, and you can argue that you'll get more production out of those two guys than you will out of the one player in Kyle Lowry. Hey, man, listen, the Heat don't make a lot of bad moves in the Riley era. The Juwan Howard move would have been a terrible move. They got lucky that they got canceled by the league because he was never going to be worth that kind of money that they signed him. Danilo's, what is it? Danilo, whatever the European kid they drafted, that didn't work out. What else? Whiteside, Johnson, Tyler Johnson, and Dion Waiters. All those were terrible contracts. There aren't a lot of moves in the 25 years that were bad moves by the Miami Heat. Kyle Lowry adds to one of those moves in 25 years. They don't make a lot of mistakes. Thank God. That's why they're a great organization. And, you got to take the bad with the good. Sometimes you're going to make good deals and you're going to steal a player from somebody and you're going to find a gem. And then sometimes you're going to end up making a bad move. And, Sasha Danilovic. That's the name of the kid. Okay. Sasha Danilovic was the kid that they drafted in the first round. And he was terrible. Remember they drafted in the first round for LeBron. What was that kid's name? That point guard that was also terrible. Wasn't he from Connecticut? That was a bad move. Oh, and Danny Green also. He signed. Not Danny Green. What was it? Say it again.
I think it was Shabazz Napier or something, right?
That's it. That his name? Yeah. Shabazz Napier. You are correct. Shabazz Napier was terrible. And then he also signed a small forward for LeBron that was terrible. That a guy that came from the Pacers and was always broken down. There aren't a lot of deals that they do that are bad. This is one of them right now. This is a terrible deal right now, this Kyle Lowry deal. This has turned out to be one really bad contract. Lowry killed my parlay. Danny Granger, thank you, Josh. That's it. Danny Broken Down Granger. Hey, LeBron, we got you Shabazz Napier and Danny Granger. Oh, and what was the other guy from the Lakers? That he was a good player, but it just did not work out here. He played power forward, but he was kind of like a shooter and a passer, and that was another bad contract. Even though he was a guy that it reminds me a lot of Chase Edmonds. Like Chase Edmonds was a solid player in Arizona. I don't know what happened here. Can't answer it. What's a guy's name? He was like you know who I'm talking about? He was a former Laker. Josh McRoberts. Thank you, Brett the movie guy. Way to go, my brother. He was afraid to shoot. He ended up developing a paranoia here with the offense. Yeah, that was another one. McBob, we'd call him, right? Josh McRoberts, that's the guy. Brett, the movie guy, thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. That is very nice of you. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, sir. And by the way, Bitcoin continues to climb. About that. 19,661 now. I don't know why there's a little pump, but I think Sagaro might be on it. It might be a little pump right before the Feds talk, and then they get to sell. So that's probably what's going to end up happening. You guys said, let's see where Ethereum is at. Ethereum is at 1,400, so it is moving up. It's up 4%. I like it. Let me see where some of these, give you a little rundown here of some of these coins right now going on. Kusama's up 4%. My boys at Injective Protocol are up 5. Engine Coin's up 5. Ethereum's up 4. Cardano's up 4.4. What other movers? Polkadot's up almost 5. Algorand's up 8. Love Algorand. So, yeah, nice to see. Nice to see. At least we're not like the Mets who are still paying for Bobby Bonilla. Yeah, but that's only like $1 million a year. $1 million a year for 30 years is the equivalent of giving Kyle Lowry $30 million right now. And next year, and so yeah. Mario Chalmers was not bad. That's a terrible take on your part. Mario Chalmers, for where he was picked, he was a very productive player throughout his career. Dude, wasn't Mario Chalmers like a second rounder? Or was he a late first? What was Mario? Help me out. No, Mario was a good player, bro. That was a good draft pick. Wasn't a great draft pick, but that's not, dude, that's not Harold Miner or Sasha Danilovich.
He was the
Go ahead.
34th pick in 2008, so I guess second round, right?
Second round pick. Are you out of your mind, dude? Mario Chalmers? Yeah, that's a bad take on your part, sir. Just so you'll know. A horrible take on your part. A second round pick that had, a long career, and he made plays for Miami. He hit big shots for Miami. No way, dude. Mario was a productive player, dude. Disagree with you wholeheartedly on that. George Albany says, Big O, Paul Langford is a great comparison to Noah. I'm old too, so I remember. I still see that dude in my sleep getting burnt by Wesley Welker. Another good modern comparison is Jason Allen. Yeah, that's a good one too. He was a hell of an athlete. I like that one because somebody threw Jamar Fletcher, and I said no. Jamar Fletcher was never the athlete that Paul Langford and Noah Igbinoghene are. Noah and Paul Langford, for me, are the exact same player, bro. The same shit we went through in the 80s with Paul Langford, the frustrations with Paul Langford are the same ones we're going through with Noah Igbinoghene. Both fantastic athletes, both can hang with receivers. They can't find the freaking football on a consistent basis. And they get fooled easily too. And as I said earlier, Paul Langford made one play in his career, and it was against the Kansas City Chiefs in the back of the end zone. He knocked down a pass from Steve DeBerg, I believe, and it was in a playoff game. And we haven't had a lot of those games in Joe Robbie. That's what it was called then, Joe Robbie Stadium. And I remember we were like, wow, Paul Langford made a hell of a play. He was still a terrible corner throughout his entire career. He was bad, dude. But I'll give him credit for that play in the playoffs against Kansas City. He made it. So props to him on that one. But overall, he was not a good player. Do want to remind you about Cutter's Edge Pro. And let me tell you something, folks. If you're looking to redo your home and change the look and also improve the value of your home, because it is etched in stone, folks. If you redo your home and really upgrade your landscape, the value of your home goes up thousands of dollars. Call the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. Plus, come on, man. Listen, you pay for that entire house, but you're also paying for that entire yard. If you're not doing anything with it, then you're kind of wasting your money there. So improve it, man. Make it look great. We've got several dogs in our home, and guess what? We've got the artificial turf now, so the dogs can walk around, have some fun. So clean. I love the artificial turf. No longer bringing any grass or crap in the house or any mud or anything like that, because it drains beautifully and it is so easy to maintain. Plus, the money you're going to save in the long run. You're no longer watering the lawn and you're no longer cutting grass. And if you're doing it yourself, you're also saving time, because you got to cut the grass, you got to pick up the grass, you got to throw it all away, you got to maintain your lawnmower and all that stuff. You don't have to do it if you got artificial turf, baby. So you're saving yourself a lot of money in the long run. That's what it's all about. Call Cutter's Edge Pro now, and they do it all, from tree trimming and removals. So if you got trees right now and they're maybe getting too close to the power lines, already on the power lines, on your roof, don't go crazy. Don't go doing it yourself and get in trouble. Call the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. Landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation design, and of course, synthetic turf, which, oh, I love the synthetic turf. And so do my dogs. By the way, they also add this little sand. It's a cooling sand that they put inside the artificial turf so it never gets hot. It lowers it like 50% the degrees. It's pretty awesome. So go check out my friends at cuttersedgepro.com. Check out the Instagram page. Check out their show on WIOD at noon for a Cutter's Edge Pro. 954-472-0622. Call William. Call Mike. Tell them that Big O sent you. 954-472-0622. All right. Leon Fresco, thank you, sir. He says, do you think you will have World Cup segments? Of course. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, baby. Guaranteed. We got to cover the World Cup. I just don't go heavy into international soccer because we're not there yet. You know, one of the things that I learned while I was doing onside radio, and we were going to make it a hardcore soccer station instead around Inter. But then we went into general talk, but we also had soccer shows. And we had some guys that can talk soccer all throughout the station, and you can't draw flies. Anytime you talk football or basketball, the downloads were way more superior. Our country, we're not there yet. We're not there yet where you can talk Premiership and Serie A on a daily basis, and you'll get a lot of people participating and all that. Maybe one national show might be able to do it where the entire audiences can create a decent audience for them. But locally, all around and stuff like that, we're not there yet. We're not there as a country where soccer is part of our sports talk fabric. Bitcoin up to 19,739 now. It's making its way to 20,000. So we're not there yet. And so that's why I don't bring on more people to talk about the Bundesliga and Serie A and the Premiership and all that kind of stuff, because it just won't draw. And you can bring on big names, Grant Wall, all that kind of stuff, and it will not draw. You can bring on people that know soccer to talk soccer. It won't draw. Now, when it comes to the World Cup, that will draw. It's interesting because the jingoistic stuff takes over. So Americans who normally don't, follow soccer, they get jingoistic. So now they start following their USA team. Men don't give a shit about gymnastics in general. But, hey, if one of ours is there at the end and we happen to be by the TV, we'll sit down and we say, hey, man, let's root for the red, white, and blue. But it's not like we're going to be watching all of the gymnastics competitions. No, we have no interest in that in general. The women do. That's why they put it on prime time, because they'll get great ratings, because the women will dominate the living room and they'll want to watch it, and so they will give the ratings to the TV companies. So we will talk World Cup. Just like, hey, look, I talk Inter here. It doesn't draw flies. Those segments don't get a ton of downloads. But I do it anyways because the few people that do love Inter and want to talk about it and hear about it, I give them at least what they want. But I know in general, I'm better off talking about Kyle Lowry in the Heat. I'm better off talking about Mario Cristobal and the Canes. And I'm certainly better off talking about the Miami Dolphins. They're going to, bring a hell of a lot more attention. But we will give the World Cup love. No doubt about it. Don't be surprised if we have World Cup broadcasts somewhere. So you can join us, possibly for some U.S. matches. Tough game to sell when a game can end 0-0. Rosendo, that's an American thing when you think like that. That's the beauty of soccer is that goals are precious. Not a chua, but they're precious. And so that's kind of the trick. And so once you appreciate the game, you appreciate how hard it is to score. So there you go. Big O, I used to play semi-pro soccer and played pro outside the country a while ago. Nice. Very cool. Did you get laid a lot? Tough games to Anthony Richardson would be a great QB to draft for change of pace plays. He's raw, but he's a monster. Is he a senior or a junior? I don't think so, right? I think he's still young, right? Doesn't he have another year before he leaves? Isn't he at least like a sophomore, I think, right? Dolphins had a nice opening drive, and that was it. Basically. Well, 2 opening drives. The field goal drive was good. Just didn't end up in a touchdown, but when it was 10-0, you're going, well, this is going to be easy. It didn't happen. Big O, that true that the woman dominating the living room caused the creation of the man cave? Maybe. Well, at least for those of us that have balls. There are some guys that, they can't stand up to their wives to get themselves a man cave. George says, question, Big O, you think it would be beneficial for those Euro leagues to have a regular season game over here to sell the sport like we do the NFL in London? Yeah, that would help out. Yes. Yes. Definitely help out. I would agree with that.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that what they do at the friendlies though? Or the ones that they do
but
like that?
But he's talking about a game that actually counts.
Oh,
instead of friendly.
Okay. I got you. Okay.
We play games that count in London. We play games that count in Mexico.
I got you. So when they do the friendlies, most of the guys don't play then, right? Is that what
right? You have friendlies. They're friendlies. They don't count. They're just, practice games.
Do the stars play though? Are you able to see the stars, or is it like a preseason game?
Sometimes they play. Okay. Sometimes they all don't make the trips, and that's what's kind of bogus about it. So yeah, and it's not a real game. Doesn't mean shit. They're playing somewhere else this year, not Mexico or London. Right? Isn't there one more game coming up in another country? Germany. That's it. You are correct, sir. Real games. So that sells more. And that's what I think he's talking about. So that would be nice. What else do we have going on? Before I do that, remember our friends at Nature Bee, Pure plant pollen, great for the entire family, kids, adults, all natural, grown in clean, green New Zealand. I tell you about plant pollen all the time, how it protects your immune system. I rarely ever get a cold, thanks to Nature Bee. The energy it gives you. I mean, it's just really the benefits are endless. And folks, you can order 2 months, get the third month for free. Use our code Big O. You'll get free shipping and you'll get that third month for free. But you got to use our code Big O. Now, we're going to give away 2 prize packs worth over $100. It's pretty cool. I think I saw the prize pack there. It's got like soap. It's got the lip balm. It's got the Nature Bee. So you got all kinds of stuff. Over $100. 2 people are going to win it. We're going to give it away in early December. You got to go to Instagram. This is an Instagram-only giveaway. Follow Nature BNZ on Instagram. Nature BNZ, that's for New Zealand, on Instagram. Okay? And tag a friend while you follow in that post. You and your friend will be entered in there. Put the hashtag Big O Radio Show, and they're going to pick 2 winners at the beginning of December to win that value pack over $100. And by the way, wait till you get that soap, because Nature Bee is awesome to take every day, those 2 golden capsules. But that soap smells so good. The lip balm is awesome. I mean, they've got so many great products. You got to check it out. So there you go. All right. Now, let me explain this really quickly. Hey, 420 on the chat board. Smoke them if you got them. I think people are out of line complaining about the offense. You know, I saw an article of Barry Jackson, I think, wrote it in the Herald, talking about the offense and the struggles. And then obviously this week they did not score a lot of points, 16-10. And here's my problem with all of this. And by the way, our thoughts and prayers to our friends in the Philippines. Right now, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake has rocked the northern Philippines. So let's hope everybody's all right. All right, so I think the complaints on the offense are misplaced right now and a little early. And let me explain why. First of all, your offense was smoking hot in the first 3 weeks. Again, let's go back to what I talked about in the other thing. Tua had the entire offseason, had training camp in the preseason, was in a groove, and started the season red hot. So now he goes out for 24 days, misses 2.5 games. You lose all 3 games. Without him, you're not scoring the points that you normally score. But the fact that he was out 24 days, you saw he just was off on certain passes. Not by much, but you're off. And that made it a poor outing for Tua. And then, again, you scored 16 points. So now you're saying that the offense is bad. And I would say, let's wait. And I thought Cam, in our interview, had the right attitude about it. That he said, you know, we saw what happened this week, but it can't happen this week against Detroit and moving forward. You've got to see it get back on track. And I agree. Now, if the offense does not get back on track in the next couple of weeks here, then you can say, okay, the first 3 weeks were an aberration. That's the way you got to look at it, unfortunately. But I think the offense gets back on track this week. You know, maybe not 35, 40 points or something like that, but I think it gets into the 20s, you know, high 20s. I think it starts to produce more yardage than it did last week, and I think it's going to produce a lot more points. I think it's an offense that's going to get back on track again. So I find the criticism of the offense right now a little unfair. I think people, typical, aren't being patient and looking at the big picture of what's really going on with the team sometimes. So I would hope that people would be a little bit more patient in that case. Walmart Bag says, Big O, I haven't gotten a chance to check for myself, but were you the one who asked Tua about throwing the ball away? No, obviously you have not been around for a while. That day I did something really stupid. I left my house to go to the Dolphins camp, and I was, on a couple phone calls. And so I just kept driving, and muscle memory, I drove to Davie, not to Miami Gardens where the new facility is at. And since I've been going to Davie for, 30 years, I screwed up. So I got there late and I could not ask the question. Actually, Daniel Oyefusi from the Miami Herald was the man that asked the question. Maybe not exactly the way I would have asked it, but he asked the question. At least he got the question in. So there you go. All right, 2 hours down. We got hour number 3 coming up. Got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. We got Sean Stanley, of course, mastering the program and the entire platform. Send in your questions here on the chat board or on the Welton Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Back with hour number 3 right here on the Big O Radio Show.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We are back for hour number 3 of the program. Already a few minutes into hour number 3 of the show. Somebody's asking me about my background. Yes, my parents are Cuban. They were born in Cuba. I was born here in Belgrade, Florida. And I don't know what else to tell you. They're really Spanish, because that's where Baco, that's where Alzugari comes from, the mountains in Spain. That's where that name comes from. Offense hasn't been bad. The play calling has. Why do we go away from the run when Armstead was dominating out there? Was passed too much for no reason. But then again, when you wanted to go for a short run, you couldn't get it done either. So, listen, man, the offense has been, inconsistent at times here the last couple of weeks. It should start to pick up a little bit more. We'll see. They have yet to show us that they can consistently run the ball. They have moments, especially with Mostert, but there hasn't been that consistency that you would like. What else do we have? Big O, did you always want to be in sports radio? Yeah, once I figured out what I wanted to do in life, yes. Yes. Took me a few years in my early 20s to kind of figure out what I wanted to do and where I belong. You know what I mean? So I went from wanting to be a lawyer, knowing that I did not love school enough to do that, to a pilot, to what else? God, I was trying all kinds of stuff. Sales, same thing that a lot of young people in their late teens and early 20s, that if you're not the biggest person when it comes to school and you're not really a fan of it, well, then you got to find other ways, right? And so it's just one of those things, trying to figure out. And then I finally figured out that radio was something that I wanted to do. And then sports was something that I've always been, sports and music are the two things that I've always been incredibly passionate for. And so I said, why not? Let's try this sports thing. And so here we are 33 years later, and changing styles and, the way you do things and everything, and adjusting to everything. So, and there we are. We have adjusted to this new digital world, and things have gone well. So there you go. Big O, were you screaming at the TV when Tua was running at defenders in the game? Yeah. My wife was like, oh, God, because she saw my face. She's sitting there next to me, and I'm looking at her and going, and she goes, oh, God, I know what you're going to talk about. And yeah, I'm pissed at Tua for that. I'm pissed because the Dolphins haven't had a starting quarterback since Marino. They haven't had a real franchise quarterback since Marino, and I'm convinced that Tua is a franchise quarterback. And so if Tua can't take care of himself, dude, this sucks. This sucks. Because I don't know when they're going to get another one. They're not easy to find. They've had trouble finding them. This kid can play, dude. This kid's a baller. He's a winner. He's got ice in his veins. He's fearless. He's too fearless. So yeah, it bothered me. Still bothers me right now. It's bothering me. Right now it's bothering me. Because I know what the Dolphins have been through. I know what Dolphin fans have been through. I know what that organization's been through. I know it's not easy to find a quarterback. I know half the league doesn't have one. And I believe the Dolphins have easily a top 10 quarterback. Okay, listen to me. Easily a top 10 quarterback. And yet, here we are. Effed up, dude. Very effed up. Let's see. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. You can also send me some Bitcoin if you want on Cash App. I always love that. Those are my favorite donations, when you make a donation through Cash App and Bitcoin. Let's see. Venmo, Christian DiMartino. Big Dolphins fan for over 30 years. I felt like once Tua locks in on Hill and Waddle, just disappears. You think we can utilize Gesicki somewhat in the same fashion as Andrews and Kelsey? Yes, they could, if they believed in him that way. If they could use him on every down the way they use, the guy in Philadelphia. I forgot his freaking name now. Kittle. Yeah. If he was a blocker, then they could sell both. And then they can have him on the field blocking even when he's not pass catching. But because when he's on the field, it's almost obvious that it's a passing play, it kind of limits what they want to do in that offense. So I don't know if they will adjust and find a way to just keep him on the field. I wish they would. But somehow it doesn't happen, my friend. Cristobal has been a disaster. Obviously, Manny left him a mess, and he needs to get guys in. But acting like even right now they aren't more talented than Duke, and Middle Tennessee State is naive. Chase, I agree and then disagree with you. And here's why I agree and disagree with you. And I'll give you an example. Okay. When you talk about players, and let's say they are supremely gifted, right? And we've run into lots of players in the history of time that are supremely gifted, but they have issues. And so Jameis Winston is supremely gifted, but he makes mistakes, turns over the ball. The aforementioned Jonathan Abram from the Las Vegas Raiders, he runs his mouth. He's talented, but he doesn't scare you because he's irresponsible. He gets out of position all the time. He says stupid things, does stupid things, commits stupid penalties on the field, so you don't fear him. And sometimes you have players that might have the talent, but they don't have the character. They don't have the drive, the leadership, and that's what's going on. While you may have, and you are correct, sir, more talent than Duke, yes, they do. Do they have more talent than Middle Tennessee State? Yeah. But Middle Tennessee State and Duke have something that the University of Miami doesn't have. They have more players with character. They have more players that are willing to sell out, play tough, not give in. And the Canes don't. The Canes have players that are mentally weak. And that's why they constantly screw up. That's why they're not working hard enough. And Mario basically can't tell you at the podium, I got a bunch of lazy Fs on my team. I've been left with a whole bunch of dudes that don't look anything like Javon Holland. Okay? So when you start thinking about Mario, start thinking about the guy playing left tackle in Detroit. Start thinking about the guy playing defensive end for the Giants. Start thinking about the guy that's playing safety for the Miami Dolphins. Start thinking about Oregon doing a pretty good job right now without him because he left it in a good state. He inherited something that's in a bad state. It's got players that are entitled. There are very few dogs. Okay? Do you see a Willis McGahee on this team? Henry Parrish has some dog in him, but he has yet to prove that he's Willis McGahee or Edgerrin James or, I don't care, bro, Otis Anderson. Okay? He hasn't even proven to be, let me give you a lesser back now that was pretty good for the Canes. I'm trying to think of this kid that was oh man, what's his name? Steven. Oh God, I'm trying to remember his name. We can talk about elite backs. I mean, I'm just trying to think of some, like, somebody maybe will come up with the guy I'm thinking of, Steven something. And he was a solid back, but he wasn't, he wasn't the elite guys that we talk about, like Otis Anderson and Edgerrin James and those kind of guys. No, Clint Portis is also elite.
Somebody said McGuire in the chat.
Stephen McGuire. Thank you. There it is, Harold. Thank you. We don't even have Stephen McGuire on this team. And by the way, I'm not dissing Stephen McGuire. Stephen McGuire was a solid running back. Tough son of a bitch. I like Stephen McGuire. I'm not here to pick on Stephen McGuire. I'm just saying Stephen McGuire isn't Clinton Portis, isn't Willis McGahee, isn't Edgerrin James, isn't Otis Anderson, isn't the elite guy. He's the next guy. Okay, those of you that have history with the Canes and you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. So we don't even have that here right now. They don't have dogs on this team. They don't have enough of them. And then you're watching Mesidor. Does anybody play like Mesidor on that team? Nobody. So you got to go get more guys like Mesidor, who he brought in. The receivers. They didn't have any receivers. Oh, my God. Kobe Young. Who brought in Kobe Young? Oh, Mario Cristobal brought in Kobe Young. That's right. So you are correct that Miami does have more talent than some of these teams, but they don't have the right talent. I'd rather have the guy that's a 3-star. I'd rather have Stephen McGuire, who's a 3-star, than Edgerrin James, who's a 5-star, because, well, not Edgerrin James, than any of these 5-stars they have on this team now, because Stephen McGuire is going to give me more effort and be more of a professional and play hard and sell out more than anybody else on the team. So when you start getting me Bill Hawkins on this team, then I'll tell you that Mario has what he needs. When you get me Casey Jones on this team, okay? Casey Jones was not like Bryant McKinney, but Casey Jones was a hell of a player. The heart of a lion, the toughness of Conan the Barbarian. That's what's going on, man. That's what's going on at the University of Miami. You got a bunch of entitled punks that you've had here for 15, 20 years that don't do shit, that live off the history of Clinton Portis. They're living off of Santana Moss. Okay? They live off of Jerome Brown. Okay? They live off of Calais Campbell. They walk into that building, they put on that helmet, and they think that they're Benny Blades. But you can't be Benny Blades. There's only one Benny Blades. That's your problem, dude. So until you get me guys that I'm used to seeing in Canes uniforms sell out, when you do the Benny Blades impersonation, that takes something out of your voice there. It's like doing Louis Armstrong. I see skies of blue, seas are, whatever. It's how do those people talk like that all the time? How does Brian Johnson sing like that? Amazing. That's what I can say. So I would agree with you to a certain extent on the talent. I would disagree completely with you on the attitude that those kids have right now in the University of Miami. In fact, here's how I'll lay it down for you on the University of Miami football program. Have you watched Life? People don't work that hard anymore. People are, I don't know, they're not of the same quality anymore in general. And it's trickled down to all kinds of things, including our kids. And that's why our kids do a lot of stupid things. Criminal things and everything. Because they have no foundation at home. And that's you got a bunch of kids in the football program that have zero foundation. That's why the last couple of years you saw clowns celebrating on the sidelines while they're losing. You saw clowns that would actually be happy about beating Eastern Michigan, Middle Tennessee, Missouri State by 5 points, and they are acting like they won the national title. That's your problem right now. Your problem is you have the wrong human beings in that program. And until you look, the organizational enema has happened. They flushed out the coaches, and they flushed out the terrible habits of not supporting their program. Now they're supporting the hell out of the program, and they brought in a hell of a coaching staff. So the next thing is flushing out all the players, but you can't do it in one off season. So this year, this off season, there'll be a bunch of guys that will find out they're no longer playing anymore, and they'll transfer out. That's it. But it's going to take 3 years to flush all this shit out. Bring in the guys in recruiting, bring in the NIL guys, and bring in the transfer portal guys. 3 years should be more than enough for Mario to then show you that something is changing here. In Oregon, he might need 4 or 5. Because it might be a little, getting kids to go there is a little different. I don't care about the Nike money. That don't mean shit to me. It's still Oregon. Not a great place to go. So kids would rather go to other places than there. But he was able to do it. He'll be able to do it here, but it just does not happen overnight. So that's where you and I will disagree. 19,783. Just a little over 200 to go to 20,000 for Bitcoin. Most people aren't making enough money to have a good life for themselves or their family. You're living in 40 years ago. I don't know what that means. That one might have been for somebody else. I had one more trepidation about Cristobal. I felt that Herbert underperformed with him. The truth, Herbert regressed to the mean. He is what he is at Oregon. Mario will be fine when he gets his players. Exactly. Carlos, I was with you. I was going, man, they've got him slinging around. How come he wasn't like that at Oregon? And then you've watched that they've kind of brought it back down because he gets you in trouble. And maybe Mario knew that he had a choker in his mists and he wanted to run and protect him a little bit more than have him throw the ball 30 plus times because Herbert will get you in trouble. You know what? We're a couple more years, we'll find out if that's true or not. If Herbert is the real deal or he's a really talented choker. Because you can, the one thing I'll never argue about Justin Herbert is the physical ability. My Lord, it's there. It's there. Now, and winning, yeah, that's a whole different ballgame. I need to see that. And that'll be the deal. Omar Kelly would be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Okay? Remember, tomorrow we're on 3 to 6. Omar Kelly will be on at 4. Inside the Paint will be 5 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. Okay? That lazy people cop-out is a straw man argument. The working class has never been more productive and underpaid. Well, it's not a cop-out. It's reality, bro. So have you been to restaurants around? How's service nowadays? We got over 400 people on the chat board. Let's teach Goose or whatever that is there, because he says the lazy people cop out is a straw man argument. So, in general, when you go to restaurants today, do you get good service? Yes or no? Because I know what the answer is going to be from all of you out there in general. So please share that with Googerman Goose on laziness. Is it prevalent in today's society? I ask you now, do you get good service? Not just restaurants, everywhere you go nowadays. How is service nowadays? Are people working just as hard to provide service to you in anything that you do nowadays? Yes or no? Please chime in. Come on. And I know what the answer is going to be in general. I know it because I experience it myself every effing day. And if you tell me that this world isn't lazier, especially after the last two presidents have given away trillions of dollars to a bunch of lazy bastards that didn't need it and stole it. Hell, we had people that were collecting money from the government just so they don't have to work. I know people that did it on purpose for a couple of months. Oh no, I don't need to get a job. I'm getting money from the government. And I'm like, wow. Let's see. No. Yeah, hit or miss. Nope. Fitty. Not at all. Service sucks. Nope. Nope, not always. Everywhere is so understaffed that people they are there can't keep up. Very, very great point, Jason. No. 75-25. Missed those 70s commercials. What the hell was that, Rosendo? That came out of nowhere. Chris Johnson says service sucks and everything is overpriced. Yep. I mean, it's just, seriously, just go look at it. It's the weirdest thing, dude. So, yeah, we are loaded with a lazy-ass society. So, to me, it's not a bogus argument. But, hey, we can look at it differently in that case. Michael Gouda says, terrible. I'm self-employed. I do residential cleaning, and I work my ass off. I don't see the same from many places. Exactly. Big O, that stimulus money has to be gone by now. How are they still surviving on that? No, I think they're gone by now with that. But Trump and Biden handed out trillions, dude. Trillions. And it's just brutal. So it created a lot of lazy people. So what can I tell you? All I know is I worked my ass off every single day of my life. I don't get any handouts. I never went to any handouts to the government at all. Hell, I never even filed, and I could have filed small business during the pandemic. Nope. Never did. Never did. And plenty of people did and probably needed it. But guess what? Some people did it and they didn't need it. But me, I said, no, man, I'm surviving. I'm making my money. I don't need a handout from somebody that then the taxpayers are paying for that handout to me. I don't need the help. I'm good. I'll survive. I'll get through it. I can survive. I can support my family on my own. I can stand on my own. And by the way, there has been nothing more satisfying than being on this platform for 2 years on your own. There's nothing more satisfying than that. And not having to, lean on anybody else. Brian Walters, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Very nice of you. I like the sticker as always. Very cool. Let's see. I thought I needed to confer with an economist, I'm sorry, but now I see that you can just go to a restaurant. Exactly. They will help you there. Choker in the Mist, the Justin Herbert story sounds like a good ESPN 3030. I like that. Ron Paul till I die. DeSantis killed Lee County. What did he do to Lee? What did he do to Lee County? I'm sorry. I must have missed it. What are we talking about? Me either. I didn't apply. I don't need to be on the government. Yeah. I'm blessed. I didn't need it, but I know that there were people that didn't need it either, and they took it. Okay. Which I don't think that's right. I would feel guilty. Big O, I pay child support, which kills my income, work 2 jobs and still barely get by. Never took a dime from the government. There you go. Yeah, because we're old school, bro. That's how we're supposed to build things, by working, not asking for handouts. Go find a job. It's the way it is. I disagree. Good leaders can motivate people to bring out their best. Good leaders can develop underperformers. Unfortunately, there are some lazy leaders that don't take the time to coach. That is very true, William. But you also have to have the people that are willing to be reached, that are willing to learn. So part of being a good leader is identifying the people that are willing to work. But we got a lot of people that aren't willing to work. I mean, I had the pleasure and the nightmare of being a boss in my last 2 stops and having to hire people and fire people. And brother, you get to know right away the work ethic of some people. And me, I have 0 tolerance for laziness. 0. Okay? Because I don't have a lazy bone in my body. I don't stop working. So people around me better have great work ethic. And that was my experience that, man, there's some entitled stuff going on out there. It's disturbing. Plenty of jobs out there. I see now hiring signs. Yeah, I mean, more often than not, okay, unless we're in some terrible recession and inflation and stuff that we've had in the past. But right now, we're in a recession. But there is plenty of work, tons of work. So I'm with you. There's no reason for anybody not to say, oh, I don't have a job. No, you can go get a job. Sexyfind.info, my hot photo here. You see that, Sean? We got to block it. I blocked it on this end. You can pick it up there. Big O, not only has the service in restaurants gotten worse, I noticed that college-age kids are not as prevalent. I see a lot more bartenders and wait staff in their 50s here in Palm Beach County. Wow. And by the way, Stephen, if you're in Palm Beach County, Go to Sports Grill. No, Sports Grill. I'm sorry. Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca. Since you're up there in Palm Beach, go to Hijinks. That might be the best looking sports bar in South Florida. That's all I'm saying. You're welcome, any of you out there that live in Palm Beach. Big O, is Dan Campbell on the hot seat yet? This is starting to feel like Hugh Jackson in Cleveland. They're a cheap organization, so somebody pointed that out to me, and I thought, maybe he gets fired at the end of the year, but he still has, I believe it's 4 more years left on this deal. So they probably will hang on for 1 more year because they're cheap. But Dan Campbell was overmatched for all of this. Frankie Fresco, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, Gesicki shook Brian Flores' hand. You were wrong, Big O. Yeah, but they didn't talk. That's because he came to them, so he wasn't going to walk by. But go look at it. There is no conversation. He was just being nice. And like, oh, yeah, hey, yeah. But there was no interaction. That's because he came to say a hi to a group of people, and Gesicki was there. But trust me when I tell you, he's not a Flo fan. That's all I can tell you. Okay?
Hey-o.
But, hey, don't believe me. I mean, don't believe the guy that told you that Flo never wanted Tua and that he wanted another quarterback. I mean, why believe me? Why believe the guy that told you Flo was going to get fired in the middle of a winning streak? I don't know. There's no reason to believe me at all. Yes, sir. What do you got for me?
I thought you would give Cam a little beating a little bit there,
Or what? What did I miss?
When they showed the collage of Brian Flores during the game.
Oh, he was shaking hands with him.
He hugged him.
He hugged him. They
were hugging it out.
He was trying. Well, look, somebody brought that up to me. Somebody brought that up to me, and I said, I don't blame Cam. He's trying to pick up an insider. He's trying to
exactly.
He's trying to make friends with him, so maybe one day he could get some information down the line. He doesn't see the difference between like a guy like me and Cam is I'm in the media, but I don't give a fuck. That's the difference. Cam has to worry about what he has to say because he then has to run into them again and he may want to use them or try. Me, I don't care. I don't want to talk to Brian Flores. I don't care about having a relationship with Brian Flores, and I don't want any information for Brian Flores. I can get plenty of NFL information. I get more information about the Dolphins than most people that have been around the Dolphins for the last 30 years. Okay? So, to me, I'd rather just be brutally honest. And, if you're a good person, we'll be friends. If you're a dick, I want nothing to do with you. And so, Brian Flores, I want nothing to do with that guy. But I get what, Cam has to do. Me, I'm not tied to corporate anymore, dude. Not that I really cared when I was tied to corporate, but I'm just going to call things like I see it. You know what I mean?
But national TV too.
But I understand the motives for Cam. Smart.
And also, I'll cancel that Brian Flores 10:30 tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, please cancel it. Cancel it. And we hit 800, 19,800 on Bitcoin. Will it get to 20,000 before I get off the air at 1:00? Cam basically made out with him, Big O. That's what Tua Time is saying. Damn, you guys are rough, bro. Irving says, I have my own business and I have a part-time job, always busy. It's the only way we stay afloat, man. It's because their dollar's worth shit. That's why. So we got to work more to get more money to pay for less. By the way, have you noticed that you go somewhere and that burger patty's a little smaller than it used to be? Did you notice that the donut might be slightly smaller than it used to be? Did you notice that they give you just a little less rice and beans than they used to when you order that food? Huh? Have you noticed how they're cutting corners here and there? They're charging you more, but somehow or another, that whatever thing you're eating or drinking, it's just slightly less than it used to be. You know? So interesting how that works out, right? You open up your burger and you go, man, that patty is smaller than it used to be. It's kind of funny. Who do you got this weekend? Jake Paul or Anderson Silva? I'm not watching any of that, but I will be rooting for Anderson Silva in every way, shape, and form. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't watch that if my life depended on it because I don't care about that kind of crap. I don't care, but yeah, I would love. I hope I hear about a knockout and then I can go to YouTube and then, watch the knockout and everybody put it up and all that, and I can laugh my ass off. So for craps and giggles, I'm going Anderson Silva all the way. Okay. Shrinkflation is the silent part of the equation. I'm telling you that mass layoffs are coming next year. We have not hit bottom yet. I agree, Carlos. I agree that we're going to have some rough waters coming up still. I totally agree with you on that. So charging more and getting less. That's exactly what's going on. I think Chipotle counts each grain of rice where I am. Yep. They give you less chicken, don't they? Meat, whatever, right? When they're spooning it in, you're like, hey, yo, dude, that's a little light. That's how it is now. That at least, you know what? I'll give La Spada credit. They still weigh it. They give you the meat, they weigh it, and then they put it on the sandwich. So they might charge you a little more, but they're giving you the same stuff at least. So La Spada, you get some love there. But yeah, you go to some of these. I swear, you go to Dunkin' Donuts, and that donut nearly isn't as big as it used to be. It's not the same circumference. I'm telling you. Quarter pound patties look like what is it? Bib Mac patties. Oh, Big Mac patties. What you mean? Yeah, that they're smaller. Yeah, exactly. Braden says, Big O, I'm 36 years old. I remember getting a meal from Taco Bell for $5 at age 6, and I would get back $5 and go all the time. Now that meal costs $12. Same damn meal. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Just corporate greed, just disgusting. Instead of just taking a little less and helping out the country, they want another yacht. Yep. What's next, Big O? A Twix with only one finger? Yeah, that's coming. Twix Light. For those of you on the go, just one stick. There you go. That's it. Twix Light coming. I like that. Chase says layoffs already started in my company. Laid off like 15% of the workforce twice in a month. I was lucky to survive, but decided it was a good time to go back and get my master's. It's all inevitable. Yeah. That's what you get when you print $7 trillion. By the way, EJD Construction, a proud sponsor of our show, and of course, the title sponsor of our Miami Dolphins broadcast. Eric has been a proud sponsor and believer of our platform for a long time. Call him 305-433-4843. That's the owner's cell number. Custom home construction, major home remodeling. One of the things that a lot of you are now calling about is your roof, because a lot of you are coming up with the new policy that you've got to sign up. And these companies now are not renewing if your roof is older than 20 years and they feel it's outdated, it needs to be upgraded. So Eric and his company is going around town and they are upgrading a lot of roofs right now. So if you need to upgrade your roof because you want to get your insurance policy for hurricane season next year, 305-433-4843. Now's the time to do it. We're getting out of the rainy season now. We're going into winter. It's a cooler time. This is the perfect time to work on that roof and get it upgraded. Call EJD Construction. Maybe you need to enlarge the home. Maybe you need to add another room. People are losing jobs. Families are now consolidating and moving in together. Some families are growing, so they've got to add another roof, another floor. EJD Construction can do that. I'm not talking about a handyman. I'm talking about full home construction, major home remodeling, custom home construction. They can build an entire kitchen and barbecue and grease trap and everything in your backyard. If you're one of those folks that likes to cook in the back and all that kind of stuff, ejdconstruction.com, 305-433-4843, and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. ejdconstruction.com. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports that I have not talked about? Oh, did you see the Heat may well, not the Heat, but somebody reported, and again, I don't know how true this is because not a lot gets out from the Heat, but the Heat could trade for Kyle Kuzma. Did you hear about that? Now, he's playing a lot better as of late. You know what I'm saying? But, that sweater is so bad. He's averaging 19 points and 7 rebounds. They need a power forward. He's kind of an odd dude, but I wonder maybe he's matured and maybe he's ready. And again, I don't know if there's any truth to any of this. Sean Devaney of Heavy.com spoke with an anonymous Eastern Conference executive this week who believes the Heat may make a trade to upgrade their power forward spot. Devaney himself also suggests that Washington Wizards veteran Kyle Kuzma could be the target for the Heat. So he will make, by the way, $13 million this year and holds a $13 million player option for next year, making it an expiring contract because if Kuzma continues to play the way he's playing, he's going to get a lot more than $13 million. Kyle Kuzma. I don't know how to feel about that. You know what I'm saying? He's been so kind of odd and inconsistent as a player. And one of the things that I worry about is a player who is excelling on a bad team. Because bad teams need somebody to score, somebody to grab rebounds. And so do his numbers go down in this kind of a situation where those numbers bloated because of the situation that he's in? Again, listen, it's just a rumor. I don't know anything about Heavy.com. I don't even know if they're legit, but I'm reading this article there, and Kyle Kuzma to me is not, I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Big O, I took the money line on the Dolphins. They better win or I'll have to sell my house. Minus 165. So you're putting 165 to win 100. Yeah, it's a lot, but I get it. They should easily win. True Fin Fan says Kyle Kuzma equals just another guy. Kuzma's Tyler Hero's girlfriend ex, Big O. Oh, that's right. Whoa, that would cause a little friction, right? Like Tyler has to hang out in the same locker room with the other guy that banged his wife. Yeah, I don't know if that you want to do that. Yeah, no, I don't know if you want to do that. That might be kind of that's kind of a weird one. I forgot about that. Nice job by you, sir. I forgot that what's her name now? God, I'm forgetting her name. Shit. Katya Elise Henry. I forgot that Katya Elise Henry went out with Kyle Kuzma. Very interesting. Panthers, by the way, taking on the Blackhawks, 8:30. And I gotta admit, I really tripped out with the Patriots yesterday. I listen, I turned on that game and I had the Heat game going on, but I turned on that game thinking this is going to be a bore fest. This is a terrible game. And it became a real entertaining half. And then it became an entertaining game because of all the developments of it. How Mac Jones got crapped on right away, and they went in with Bailey Zappi. And then Zappi throws these bombs early on. They scored 2 quick touchdowns, and they never do anything again. Bailey Zappi gets half his passes batted at the line. He's a disaster after that. And it just, after we had the Boston media, half those idiots were saying, well, he looks like Tommy Brady. Maybe they might have found themselves. And then we had half you idiots out there. Oh, Mac Jones better than Tua. And here he goes. Bailey Zappi unseats him. And then Bailey Zappi craps in his pants the rest of the game. I just found it freaking hilarious. And watching Bill Belichick and his offense fall behind by 19 points, and it's like, oh my God, I've got this terrible offense. How am I going to get back down 19 points? If you got Tua, you can come back by 21. But if you have Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, and then we're finding out that the parents, the mom loved Party of Five, and so there's a character there named Bailey. So that's why Zappi was named Bailey. I just love watching Belichick suffer. Last night he would have passed George Halas. So the Bears stopped him from passing George Halas. I got to say, I really enjoyed that last night. It made me feel better about watching that shitty Heat game that they lose and Kyle Lowry's a disaster. I felt better watching that because, watching Belichick suffer is just a beautiful thing. Yes, sir, Sean Stanley.
All right, so I went back because I wanted to find out because I remember seeing a post, and then this was from Mark Daniels. He covers the Patriots, and I want you to tell me if any of this sounds familiar. Players said they didn't know Bailey Zappi was going to play. Then I saw an offensive player walk up to Mac Jones in the locker room and apologize for how the situation played out. The Patriots' explanations on the QBs didn't match the locker room scene. The apple does not fall far from the tree.
Yep. Same kind of treatment of Tua. Same kind of shitty treatment of Tua. Yeah. It's, And you know why these idiots get a pass? Because they found Brady. Outside of that, they can't find anything else. Like I told you, my frustrations with Tua, right? What are my first? Because the Dolphins haven't been able to find a guy since Marino. So I need Tua to take care of himself so we can have a guy for a long time. And damn it, he won't take care of himself. I thought you were going to start reading me stuff from the media of a couple of years ago talking about how Mac Jones is God and he looks great. And it's Tom Brady. I thought you were going to read those.
No, I just found it funny because I remember I saw some things about like, oh, the apple doesn't fall from the tree, far from the tree because of the way the handling of Flores with Tua and how this all played out. Although, if you watch Monday Night Football, they were saying both quarterbacks will be playing and this and that. And it was a very odd situation when I was watching the game.
All right. I'm with you. It was for sure. By the way, we do have good news to report for the Miami Dolphins. Did you know that the Miami Dolphins have the 11th pick in the draft? San Francisco, with the loss this weekend, they are number 11. So make sure you keep following that situation, and hopefully they'll continue to lose big, and climb up that draft. Miami's 24th pick is forfeited, of course, thanks to Stephen Ross. I'm sorry, thanks to Bruce Beal and Stephen Ross. both bozos that got this got their own franchise in trouble. So there you go. What if Tua doesn't listen to you? What do you these days? Huh? I don't know what that means. Tua's not going to listen to me because he doesn't listen to his dad. And if you watch this show and follow it every day, I was already depressed about this a couple of weeks ago. Did I not call it disturbing? Huh, Sean? Did I not call that Tua video disturbing?
From the beginning.
From the get-go. I pretty much predicted that he would not take care of himself a couple weeks ago when I played that video. Because what I told you was, if he's not listening to his dad and he's not listening to Saban, then he'll never listen to us. And that's where we had that conversation 2 weeks ago that some of you brought up his wife, that maybe, because the wife is one that could always get to a man. And no. So he's not going to listen to me. He doesn't even know who the hell I am, dude. He has no idea I even exist in this world. Okay, so even though he has me as a supporter of his, a believer in his, he has no idea that I support him or anything like that. So he doesn't listen to the show. He doesn't know anything about this show. So he would never listen to me. But all I need to know is you're not listening to your dad. And I know how much you love your dad and your parents. So, dude, if you're not doing it for them, you're not going to do it for anybody, unfortunately. So there you go. Irving says, I heard a rumor Dolphins possibly inquiring Jerry Jeudy, Broncos. That would be hilarious if Miami traded for him. Yeah, it's ridiculous, Irving, because they don't need Jerry Jeudy. So whoever reported that, I don't know who you're listening to, bro, but that's like a really stupid report. So my suggestion first is not to follow anybody that reported that, because it doesn't make any sense. It's just like the morons with the whole Deebo Samuel thing. That was stupid too. They paid for Cedric. They're paying for Tyreek, and they've got to pay Waddle down the line. They're not paying for any more receivers. That makes no sense whatsoever. If anything, they would love to unload Cedric Wilson at this point, because he is a luxury at this point. So my suggestion, Irving Figueroa, don't repeat stupid reports that make no sense whatsoever. And better yet, don't follow anybody, because you're repeating something that's a Facebook fact or a clown that actually reported it. It's not Rappaport. It's not somebody legitimate that's actually saying it. So that's the other suggestion I would have to a lot of you out there. Stop putting out shit that people that aren't legit. It's the Brian Burns thing from last week. Somebody said, oh, I'm convinced that Brian Burns will get traded. Hey, you don't know shit, dude. But then you send all these NFL fans into a tizzy. So do you use common sense. It was going to be Cedric and Waddle. Then all of a sudden Tyreek became available, and they said, oh my God, we got to do this. And they went and did it. And then Cedric now becomes an afterthought, because you just can't throw him the ball because he doesn't have a lot of opportunities. So that's what I would tell you. Get rid of Edmonds. I like Gaskin better as a backup. Well, I'm sure he'll get a chance, man. I heard Miami is calling every team in the league looking for DBs. There you go. Eric Storm heard it. He heard it. He knows it. RedRecover.com, by the way, proud sponsor of our program. We love RedRecover.com. We tell you about RedRecover.com. It is a great way. The wraps are great for so many parts of your body, from your back, your neck, elbows, knees, ankles, you name it. So if you have some pain, some discomfort, an old injury, an old surgery, red light therapy, all natural, No side effects, folks. It's great for everybody, for the kids, for adults, and even for your dogs. We've got wraps. I got the wraps, the small and the bigger wraps for my small dogs, the bigger dogs, so we can wrap their hips. Telling you, redrecover.com, 15 minutes daily. And let me tell you something. If you're working out every day, pickleball, running, walking, jogging, you name it, whatever it is you do, weights, tennis, before and after your workouts, use the Red Recover wraps and they will optimize your workouts. You're going to feel a lot better. It gets the blood flow going, folks, and you're able to recover from that soreness too at the same time. Go to redrecover.com, check out the video blogs there, read up on it, use our code Big O. You will get 10% off. The wraps are incredibly affordable and 10% off. Awesome. I use one to grow my hair back. You can use it too. If you just started losing your hair, you might be able to grow it back. It's not perfect, but you might be able to grow it back. Now, when it comes to pain and discomfort and all of that, the red light therapy works, man. It really helps you out. redrecover.com. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports pretty much? Oh, when sports and business collide, we like doing one thing. It is called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Drago, I've asked to a question several times. That has nothing. He still wouldn't know who I am. He just looks at me like another face. All right. Who's the fat dude with the goatee? Okay, I'll answer his question and move on. I've asked Tua questions. That's on the field, in the room. It has nothing to do with that. He still won't know who the hell I am. Kevin Durant has gotten into the business with LeBron James, but not together. Kevin Durant is picking up the pickleball craze. The Nets star and Rich Kleinman, his business partner, have purchased an expansion team in the Major League Pickleball 35V. Their investment company will also serve as strategic partners for the league while running their team. 35V is committed to investing in the future of sports and emerging opportunities, and Major League Pickleball is a league we are incredibly excited about, Kleinman said in the statement. We can't wait to build this team from the ground up, as well as to work to elevate the sport and the league to unprecedented heights. An avid pickleball player and fan, the interest in the sport is a natural fit. Durant, by the way, is the latest NBA star to get involved with the sport in the league. LeBron James, Tom Brady, Draymond Green, Kevin Love have all invested in the league. James bought in last month. The 35V team will debut next year in 2023 as part of the league's expansion. The league will grow from 12 to 16 teams. There you go. The latest team the duo has invested in, they own 10% of the Philadelphia Union in the MLS and are also part ownership groups of the New York, New Jersey, Gotham FC of NWSL. It's part of the growing portfolio for Durant and Kleinman. There you go. So the pickleball craze continues to grow. It's freaking awesome. There you go. All right, we are out of here. And that, by the way, first of all, that is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Brian Looper asked, favorite band as a child? Boston. Tom Schultz and company were my favorite band as a kid. So there you go. All right, we thank Cameron Wolf for joining us here on the program. Just one guest today. A lot of talk, a lot of segments, all kinds of stuff. So we appreciate all of you out there. Of course, Sean Stanley, who masters it all, will be back tonight, 7 to 8, for the State of Florida Gridiron Roundtable. And then, of course, it'll be Mike McCoy and the Miami Hurricanes watch. Randall Hill, the Thrill, will be joining Mike McCoy tonight at 8:20, I believe, is when he'll be there. All right, we are out of here. We'll see you later on this evening. You all be good out there.